shows that our defense is getting better, and that's a positive sign.
All right, North Texas, 2 o'clock Sunday, UABsports.com to get tickets. 975 UAB1 to get tickets as well. Go support these Blazers and go honor one of the great Blazer teams of all time, one of my favorite people in the world, Mo Finley. He is a great dude, and that whole team will be there. AK, good to see you again. We'll see you next week.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. On the JohnsonRVCenter.com hotline is where you found Coach, and he's presented each week by Legacy.
Yeah, don't forget Swap and Drop is going on now. You can swap a car or truck loan, even an ATV, a boat, or anything else over to Legacy from wherever your provider is. Go to swapanddrop.com, swapanddrop.com. Check out an Engage checking as well. Let's see, non-sports. William Post, rock star. Do you know what William Post did? He died this week at the age of 96.
Oh, it was a Post cereal. Stole the, he infiltrated Kellogg's after the place burned down. Took their ideas. Are you talking about?
Created grape nuts?
Yep. Also was one of the creators of the Pop-Tart.
Yep. So have you seen that the movie's coming out?
The William Post movie?
No. It's about the creation. I told Lance about this. He's like, there's no way they could do a movie on this. So Seinfeld is...
Jim Gaffigan.
Seinfeld, Jim Gaffigan.
Melissa McCarthy.
There was one more person. It's a big name. It's some big names that are in there. And I think Seinfeld has written and directed this, if I'm not mistaken, Rockstar.
It will be a PG-13 then.
Yep. What's the deal with the frosting?
But that is coming out pretty soon, I think, on Netflix.
What is the movie about?
Frosted. It's about there was apparently some controversy in the creation of the Pop-Tart between Post and Kellogg's, maybe. And this is about the creation of the Pop-Tart. I'm kind of with Lance. I don't know that they're going to how they're going to do a movie on it. But
didn't you say its title right now, Unfrosted?
Either Frosted or Unfrosted, one of the two.
Because I'll never forget an ex-girlfriend. The most hell she ever got from my kids is she purchased non-frosted Pop-Tarts, which doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you want a non-frosted Pop-Tart?
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't, man.
I guess if you wanted to put cheese on it, but you put cheese on the frosted ones? Yeah.
I mean, would you guys ever buy Unfrosted?
I would not.
There have been times, I don't even know if it was frosted the first time I had a Pop-Tart, if they even had frosted. The first time I had one.
Frosted is definitely...
Yeah, I need to go back to Pop-Tarts. I used to eat them all the time.
Calorie count.
Oh, I like them.
Hate the Pop-Tart.
That calorie count, when you start looking at that, you're like, holy crap.
Everything.
Hate the Pop-Tart.
So not to that level.
All right, we're doing another Mystery Fifth Hour for you today. That'll be coming out on all of our platforms, and a lot of other exciting stuff going on up here. Rockstar No Music this weekend. Forrester's back on the softball junket, a doubleheader today for him. Lunsford and Melton have something cooking we're going to tell you about here pretty soon, unveil some of that. You guys have big plans this weekend?
I am actually, I'm on the road going to see the daughter.
All right, good. Heading down to Mobile for him. And what about you?
I have got nothing.
One of those weekends you like, right?
Dry weekend, yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to that. All right, we hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll be back with you Monday, 9 a.m. Central Time. Don't forget social media platform, Instagram, Twitter, maybe some YouTube. Taylor will be at the Auburn game coming up this weekend. I'll be over in Tuscaloosa for Bama and Texas A&M. Follow us for all that. And remember to like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up. We're back with you Monday. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Visit nextroundlive.com today. It's free, unless you haven't paid your internet bill. So go ahead and pay that, and then it's free. Heck, you can pull out your phone and go to nextroundlive.com right now, where you'll find all the free content that you can stomach, unless you haven't paid your phone bill. Then you need to pay that, and then you can enjoy all the free content. Nextroundlive.com is so rewarding that it should be behind a paywall, like Lance's Lock. So in summary, play Lance's Lock. Then you'll have enough money to pay your bills, and go to nextroundlive.com, where you're always at your happiest, for free. The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Yeah. All right, here we go live now on a Monday after a big weekend in basketball that saw Auburn finally lose at home and Alabama stay atop of the SEC standings. We'll get to that. We've got college football news to talk about. We're in that part of the college football season where some people now start doing those wild predictions for next year. It may be the first one. We've got one of those later on. Don't we love those where people make wild predictions and then we decide, is that really wild or not?
Well, it's not wild. I mean, most of them, I'd say 99%, it's like they're not going out on a limb, really.
Yeah. I think
Ryan Day has to get to a college football playoff. No shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we started doing those thinking we were going to talk about the actual prediction, and it ended up we would just always grade on how wild they were. So pretty much we just tear apart the person's work rather than comment on the person's
like
work.
if somebody comes out and they're like, one team that will be in the national semifinals, the Final Four of college football, has never been that far before. You come up with something like that, to me, that's a little bold.
You know what's funny, though? If somebody had done that wild prediction 2 years ago, it said TCU makes their first college football playoff, we'd have said, quit reading the list.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
No, you're insane.
Championship game. We'll play for the national championship.
Jim, let's move on. You got basketball. Let's move on. Don't read that
if you say a group 5 player is going to win a Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, that's pretty bold.
That's bold.
Yeah, that's bold.
I pre-looked at these. We'll do them later in the show, but the group of 5 representative is the first time I've seen this one.
Oh, is that bold? Jacksonville State?
Okay. Everybody seems to go lazy, and I think Boise is going to be pretty good this year, but the majority of people I've seen have got Boise State there, and it's almost like we're not going to do a deep dive into what Group 5s are going to be really good. Let's just go with the consensus Group 5 over the last 20 years.
I recognize that name.
Boise's good. All right, but we start with basketball, and let's start with Auburn because they lost the game, and I don't think a lot of people thought they were going to lose because Kentucky came out and played their best game in a long, long time, and it starts with Kentucky's defense. Reputation-wise, Kentucky's defense was sort of in the neighborhood of Alabama. Kentucky could shoot you out of a gym, could beat you offensively, but they had not been playing really good defense. They picked a weird time to maybe play their best defensive game of the year on the road at Auburn, and they held Auburn under 60 points down in Neville.
Yeah, when did we hear from Calipari? Was it last Friday or Thursday? Well, it wasn't even subliminal. He was basically saying, look, we've got great offensive skill, but defense is really effort.
Yeah, it was the old, I need you to work over here. You're willing to do what's right here. I need you to walk over here. Is that a good Calipari?
Not at all. But
it was horrible.
But you basically was saying exactly what Calipari was saying last year, and Kentucky listened because they've got great athletes and they can score, and they won a game by basically just grinding it down and making Auburn look ugly offensively. But that was a great performance. I mean, Auburn looked about as bad as they can look ever at Neville. But Kentucky on the other side, man, I mean, if this is a Kentucky team that can go out and score 80 or 85 on a given night, they can play defense like that, this is a dangerous Kentucky
team. Yeah, I mean, they did to Auburn's backcourt what few, if any, have been able to do. Forced them to turn the ball over, got points off turnovers. I mean, people aren't getting points off turnovers in Auburn because Auburn doesn't really turn the ball over all that much.
More on Jalen Williams. We'll get to that injury in a second. But first, let's hear from Bruce about that loss and what it does for Auburn down the stretch. If you're paying attention, Rockstar, I need cut 5. If you're paying attention to the SEC standings as we sit here right now, Alabama's in the lead. Tennessee's, in the loss column, 1 back. So Bama's got 2 losses, 3 losses for Tennessee. And then there's 4 teams, including Auburn now, with 4 losses. Here's Bruce after the 16-game home winning streak came to an end on Saturday night.
This is kind of the first time you guys have really had a true, just demoralizing game just in this building, demoralizing injury.
This was not a demoralizing game. It was a good team that played a really good game. What's demoralizing about a loss to Kentucky when they play well? So I can't even begin to answer that. Do I look demoralized to you? Anybody think I'm demoralized? No, the point is, and this is what I want you guys to understand, I mean, our guys have been achieving at a high level. I mean, they've been, and oh, by the way, it's funny, I looked at the schedule the other day, and we're playing South Carolina, and they're 20-3. And they've won 7 in a row. And I said to my son, Stephen, I said, you know what? This might be the easiest game of the next 4. Looking at Kentucky here, even going to the road to Georgia, then going to Tennessee. And so for these kids to have grinded and be in the position, guys, come on, demoralized?
I mean, I thought it was kind of demoralizing.
Bruce did not.
Yeah.
I did think that was an interesting response. It's almost, I mean, I see both sides of it. Like, I see, guys, it's a basketball loss. You know, you're going to take a lot of losses in basketball. This is not football. You lose at home to Kentucky in football. It's a demoralizing loss, right? But some of that did feel like we're playing, we're playing Kentucky, guys. This is Kentucky. You're supposed to lose to Kentucky. And I know that's not what Bruce is saying, but he is saying it is Kentucky, right?
Yeah, I do believe this is the worst Kentucky team I've seen in a long, long time. I think they have a lot of flaws. They
had lost, 4 of 7 going into that game, 3 of 5?
Yeah.
Just in this game, which is a big win for them, they struggled to move the ball around the court. I mean, their passes were sort of like they would just throw it up, and luckily one of their guys would get into it sometime. So I don't know how good this Kentucky team is going to be down the stretch. It was a big win for them, but for Auburn moving forward now, they've lost Jalen Williams for at least a period of time. The good news is it's a non-season-ending injury. But I've been making this point for a while. I just showed you these numbers, Brown, but I want to bring LT into this conversation. Jalen Williams, when he doesn't score points, Auburn doesn't win basketball games. When he scores points, when Jalen Williams is good, he compliments Janai Broome and Chad Baker-Mazara so well that Auburn is almost unbeatable. In their losses this year, I'll go backwards from the other night. He had 3 against Kentucky. Now, he got injured with 10 minutes to go. So he
still logged 24 minutes and was 1 of 5. The Splash Brothers, they had one outing, and then the Splash Brothers completely shit the bed.
He had 6 in the loss at Florida, 10 in the loss against Mississippi State, 7 in the loss against Alabama, 6 in the loss against Appalachian State, 4 in the loss against Baylor. When Jalen Williams isn't that extra part that makes Broome and Chad Baker-Mazara soar, this team has lost basketball games. Now they've got to find someone to lift up the others until he comes back. And then you hope he comes back to a level that gets him into the 15 to 20-point range every game.
Yeah, this team is not doing anything without Jalen Williams. And look, your strengths of this team are depth, and they're the combination of Broome and Williams. And with Broome being out right now, that is going to limit what Auburn is able to do on both ends of the court. So that is a tremendous loss. I mean, the good news is when you saw it initially happen and then you saw Bruce after the game, you thought it might be season ending. The good news is, as you said, he will be back. And another thing, I saw it over in the chat room. Aiden Holloway, this guy could not hit water if he fell out of a boat, to quote Crash Davis. Yeah. I mean, he is one of the worst shooting guards I have ever seen, at least in game. I mean, I shouldn't. That's probably a little over the top.
Maybe a bit.
But he is 2 of 21 his last 6 games. He's 5 of 28 his last 9 games. And this is a guy that everybody said, watch out. You know, once he hits the timeline, anything, you know, this guy can get his shot. This guy is going to be unbelievable as far as a scoring guard. He just hadn't been that.
Nobody looks better than him dribbling the ball up the floor. He's the fastest dribbler I've ever seen of getting up the floor. But he's a guy you want shooting threes. Like you double down on Janai and let him shoot threes all day long until he proves he can hit 2 in a row.
And I would assume that if you are an opposing player coach, until he hits 2 or 3, you can get in this guy's head easily right now.
Yeah.
Back off, let him have what he wants.
Yeah, he's 29.7 on the year from beyond the arc. I mean, he's got to be better if he's going to be – if you're going to play guard in Auburn's offense, you're going to shoot a little bit better than under 30% from beyond the arc.
So when I'm watching this game, though, the other night, and Taylor and I talked about it in the postgame, you can see that 30-minute reaction with Taylor. of which, if you missed it, Brownie, she did it again. She's got a beautiful shot right there on the court ready to go, and I asked for her reaction. Long pause, and then she starts walking again and walks out of the sunlight, out of the bright lights inside the arena, through the tunnel, out towards that field again. She did not want to stay where the bright lights were. She wanted to get out of the arena so she could express her real feelings. So she was outside again in the entire postgame with very little lighting.
Was she emotional at all?
I said to her, you had a perfect look. You look like you were on SportsCenter. Now you're walking out. And she goes, I've never been anything like SportsCenter. You're just going to have to live with it. Yes. But we made this point, is that they started off that game doing things that they normally don't do. Like Chad Baker-Mazzara in the first few minutes was trying to go behind the back, between the legs on everything. Every pass was behind the back from him. They had people that were shooting shots that don't usually shoot shots. They were trying to I believe, feed into the frenzy of the crowd and make these big, crazy shots early on to sort of bury Kentucky early. They got in their own head. They didn't play their normal game.
You think the crowd actually impacted them, not Kentucky?
I think the players, I don't want to use the old Sabin rat poison, but I believe the players started to believe they were bulletproof in that arena, that they just had to show up and they could put on a show like it was a freaking all-star game in the NBA. They could go out there and bounce pass it between legs and behind the back and throw it off. I mean, it's just crazy.
I guess I misworded the question maybe a little bit to Stephen Pearl, but I tried to ask him that about the South Carolina game, and obviously it was not an issue with the South Carolina game. But you do wonder, because to your point, so much is made of how difficult Neville Arena is to play in, and obviously it is. Though Alabama fans are pointing out a tweet that came out this weekend about actual home record over the last 2 years. The Neville Arena is a difficult place to play, and you do wonder, and I tried to ask Steven this, and maybe I'll reword it tomorrow when he's on with us. You do wonder if that team does think they're bulletproof there, and it starts to hurt you a little bit that you think, all we got to do is show up at Neville and we're going to win.
Well, the good news is you get humbled quickly.
Well, you did.
As of Saturday, and you look at, they've lost 2 or 3 now, and the thing that really is glaring in those 2 losses is how bad they were behind the arc. I mean, you talk about 7 of 39 in the 2 losses to Florida and this past weekend to Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, that's shooting yourself out of a game.
It is.
The difference is one of those are at home where you're supposed to, you shoot a lot of balls in those arenas. You're supposed to be much more comfortable at home.
And in terms of the Southeastern Conference race, it makes it really difficult on them now with a road game at Tennessee still to play and you're 2 games back of Alabama. That it's going to be tough for them to win the SEC regular season. Certainly outright.
And I don't know how much that means.
I mean, I would hope it means something. What do you think?
I like being regular season.
Yeah.
That's a banner. That's a banner.
Yeah,
but again, I mean, I can't tell you this. When Auburn went to their only Final Four, what did they do in the regular season?
No.
I know it wasn't a great regular season, but
I'd trade
the final. Actually got beat at home by Kentucky. Last time Kentucky won at Auburn was when Auburn went to the Final Four.
Trust me, I'd trade the Final Four for an SEC championship. Don't get me wrong. But winning an SEC championship means I don't have to play till Friday in Nashville. I get the early games straight through in Nashville. Don't have to play any late games. I'm probably, if I'm regular season SEC champ,
you're a 2 seed.
There's zero chance I'm going to be below a 3. Zero chance. So I'm going to get a really good NCAA tournament. See, and you saw when the seeding came out, Auburn was right there already.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, Auburn was a 2, Bama was a 3. The thing is...
4. Auburn was a 4.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, we remember regular seasons when it comes to college football.
We do.
I just don't really remember regular seasons when it comes to college basketball.
But I'm with Jim. I mean, you start the season with goals, and one of them has to be to win the SEC. I mean, like Jim said, you raise a banner for that. Even Kentucky raises a banner for that one.
Yeah, for the SEC regular season. Our friends at Rump Shaker bringing you part of the conversation. We'll get to Alabama's win over Texas A&M, another 100-point outing after LT tells us about Rump Shaker.
Yeah, our friends at Rump Shaker, they want to remind you the dangers of colon cancer right now. Make sure you reach out, go to rumpshakerinc.org, rumpshakerinc.org, and get ready for the 5K that's coming up. You're going to have to give me a second, Dunaway. Okay. I had no idea we were doing this.
That's okay. Our friends at Rump Shaker, it's a great event every year. It happens down at Regents Field where the Barons play their games, and you got a lot of good breweries and restaurants in the area. It's just a great event. You get out there. Colon cancer is a huge problem in the United States. It's something you've got to continue to get checked all the time. And the Rump Shaker event brings great awareness to that every year. You get a chance to participate in the walk/run and get out there and bring awareness to that. And we'll tell you more about the Rump Shaker as we move a little bit further.
Don't have it.
Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit later on. Our friends at Alabama had a big win over the weekend. Rockstar, give me let's go cut number one, Nate Oates, on how important this one was for Alabama as they go out and beat Texas A&M 100-75. Here's Nate.
It's a big win. We got teams right on our tail in the SEC race, and you got to protect home floor, so we need to get it. I gave them three things. One, we got to try to turn them over so that they don't get shots up. We were okay. We turned them over 14 times, probably not quite enough. Two is we got to actually box out and rebound. We weren't great on that. But then three, I said, they don't get any points for getting an offensive rebound. You only get points if you put the ball in the hole. So after they get an offensive rebound, we still got to get stopped. Two totally different styles, but, we're fortunate we got them at home and shot the ball pretty well and got the win because it was a well-needed win at this point of the year.
And I know LT felt the way I did on Friday. After the loss at Vandy from Texas A&M, I was expecting a really good effort from Texas A&M in this game in Coleman Coliseum, and I don't think they played horrible. I just think Alabama played that well. The defense, Grant Nelson underneath was really good, and they hit 18 threes.
Well, look, Wade Taylor is a guy that can take a game over for Texas A&M, and I don't think he wants to step back in the state of Alabama. Against Auburn, 2 of 16. Against Alabama, 4 of 15, 6 of 31 overall in those two games, and Wade wasn't good. A&M only shot 37%. And as much as we talk about Neville, I didn't see the tweet over the weekend, but I am going to assume based on that, Alabama's got an equal or better record over the last couple of years.
We talked about it in the postgame. Taylor and I did. Alabama's got the longest win streak of SEC games since 1988.
Yeah.
That's Alabama in SEC games. Now, they've lost one game this year at home. That was to Clemson. So they don't have the longest win streak in the country. Or Auburn had 16 straight wins dating back to Alabama beating them in Neville last year. But if you go back to a certain period of time, Alabama's won 27 of 28 games at home.
So Blake Byler did the work on this, and Blake's with Bama Central. Over the last two seasons, Alabama is 27-1 at Coleman Coliseum. Auburn is 27-3. Tennessee is 26-3, and Texas A&M, surprisingly, is 24-4. I didn't know A&M was quite that good at home, honestly. So over the last 2 years, now again, this is I don't know if you include 3 years, what changes here, or 4 years, what
Alabama
changes here.
didn't win the SEC championship.
That is correct.
The year he's leaving out,
but they did win the year prior to that, so you could even go deeper back. And
but they did the year before. So when you do 2 years instead of 3,
there's probably a
4
reason
years,
a guy
or 5.
There's probably a reason a guy at Bama Central stopped it too.
Yeah.
But Alabama is 27-1, and Auburn is 27-3. They've both been terrific at home. I was asked, this came up on the Zone last night, and this sounds like I'm trying to make everybody happy here. I'm not, but I guess maybe we'll try, like I'm a politician. I think for Alabama, them being at home, they are comfortable shooting there. You saw that, 18 threes. If Alabama hits 18 threes in a game, there is not a team in America that beats them. Not one. I don't care if you give me Purdue or UConn or Arizona. If Alabama hits 18 threes, they are not losing. Period. End of sentence.
Best offense in the country, they kept saying on the broadcast.
I mean, if in any NCAA tournament game, and it's unlikely that they would do this, but in any NCAA tournament game where they hit 18, they are winning that game, period.
Yeah. 12 times over 90 points. They're averaging 90.7 a game right now.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. And another time over 100, and on a Buzz Williams defense. Pretty impressive. But Auburn, and Nate Oates said this is not me saying this. Nate Oates said this. The construct of Auburn's arena makes it a really difficult place to play. I think for Alabama, the crowd has an impact. You were there Saturday. It sounded pretty loud on TV at times.
It was a good crowd.
The crowd's into it at 11 o'clock.
Alabama dominated the game, so the crowd didn't have to be.
But I think the big thing for Alabama is they are comfortable shooting there.
Yeah.
They shoot there a lot, and it fits their eye.
Here's the deal on a stat like that, and I tried to make this point over the weekend. Alabama's football home record's pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's because Alabama's really good.
Because Alabama's really good.
That's right.
Alabama basketball is really good.
That's right.
Right? So places that get the reputation of having a good home field advantage in football, And a great home field advantage in basketball is when you're really good at home, it's a crazy atmosphere, but really you make your team that much better. Like Jordan-Hare Stadium at Auburn, right?
Right.
Nobody would say that Bryant-Denny Stadium is a more intimidating home field advantage than what Jordan-Hare Stadium is, right?
No, I think if you look at the numbers, Alabama's probably just as good on the road as they are at home.
That's the point.
That's exactly
They're
right.
good everywhere.
That's right.
Yeah. Alabama football. Yeah.
Alabama football wins everywhere, including
right.
Bryant-Denny Stadium. If Blake or whomever goes back and does the Alabama football numbers, you're going to say Bryant-Denny Stadium is one of the greatest home field advantages in the SEC or in college football because they win all their games there, right? But meanwhile, if you start saying the 5 toughest places to play in the SEC in college football, Bryant-Denny Stadium rarely, if ever, gets mentioned. Though statistically, it is one of the toughest places to play because Alabama wins football games there. Texas was their first home loss in forever there.
Yeah.
So Coleman Coliseum's numbers are really, really good because you know what? Alabama basketball under Nate Oates has been really, really good. So those numbers are going to stack up a lot of wins because Nate just wins a lot of basketball games.
Yeah, I'm curious, and I can pull this up.
But I'm sure Blake or anyone else who is sending in that stat is not going to tell us they do not want a new arena that makes the atmosphere better, right?
Yeah.
Nate Oates is going to tell you that he would love to have the students lined up on the court there instead of in 2 sections going 100 rows up to the ceiling where you can't yell from the top row and be heard anywhere else other than in Northport. You want to be on the court like a lot of the great arenas are. So throw all the stats you want. To me, you still need the new redesigned arena down the road.
Yeah, and on our Ryan Fowler had Greg Byrne on his show this past week, and Greg talked about that over in Tuscaloosa and said they're getting closer. They still haven't closed the gap they need to close. I think it's a $100 million gap, but they're getting closer.
Well, every day they're going to get closer.
You would hope.
I mean, if they might build it in 50 years.
Yeah, but they're getting closer.
A lot there in the first. We'll get back to the actual game for Alabama and some of those big topics we just grazed over here in this opening segment, being brought to you by our friends at Redmont and our friends at Gutter Cap. First, Redmont, a lot of exposure at the NBA All-Star game.
Oh, yeah, they were all over the place. Gluten-free, 8 times distilled, locally owned and operated. Charles Barkley, one of the reasons it was so visible in Indianapolis this past weekend. But ask for it by name. If you're at a local bar, local restaurant, it's Redmont Vodka. Available at your local package store, ABC stores, including the Pink Package and Beverage Place. Again, it's Redmont Vodka.
Yeah, and our friends at Gutter Cap. A lot of people, the housing market this spring and summer is about to crank up. Good feeling about where the housing market's going to go. So if you're about to put your house on the market, and one of the great easy ways to add value to it is Gutter Cap with our friend C. Stu. He's been doing it for a long, long time with us here.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do after a long work week is get on top of the roof and clean the gutters out. It's a dirty, dangerous job. You slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. No good to the wife or kids. Cap it, don't snap it. Chris Stewart will come out, give you an absolutely free estimate. You've got nothing to lose to find out if Gutter Cap is right for you. 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Maybe you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or TikTok. While we're changing the game yet again, Tyler's Telegrams has been developed exclusively for you.
Hi, this is the lovable boy you know as Tyler the Intern. I'm a businessman now. I will come directly to your door and tell you every time a new piece of TNR content drops. For the low, low price of $740,000, you can be notified by me, one of the biggest stars of The Next Round, about that thing you missed. Sure, The rest of those social media services are free, but so is radio, and we all know how well that's trending.
Tyler's Telegrams is currently operating exclusively in Bibb County. Other social media platforms are available everywhere.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Let me introduce you to the new line of Red Wing athletic work shoes. This great new line is perfect for the industrial athlete, the guy who is working on concrete or running through the warehouse all day long. Red Wing Athletics use the same technology found in a running shoe, with soft mesh uppers, a lightweight aluminum toe for protection, and non-slip soles. This shoe is a winner. This comfortable new line of safety shoes are perfect for warehousing and light manufacturing. Plus, the colors look great. Stop by your local Red Wing shoe store, have your feet measured, and test drive a new pair of Red Wing athletic work shoes.
Back with you on the next round, Daytona later today, 3 o'clock Central Time. If you're waiting on the Great American Race, we look forward to Talladega coming up in April. We'll be over there for the big one on the Boulevard, and a lot of fun with those fine folks. College football news a little bit later on in the show, but back to basketball after LT tells us about our friends at Woodhouse.
Hey, look, a great gift. You can give it 24/7 online. It is the gift of luxury from our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. They're located right there at the Summit Shopping Centers. Get NC Stewart and that great staff. Tell them the next round sent you. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Again, you can order that special person gift online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. The Woodhouse Day Spa voted America's best day spa since 2009. Online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
All right, so we got off the path of Alabama's win over Texas A&M 100-75. Here's Latrell Wrightsell after the game. He was one of Alabama's 4 guards that were all in double figures against Texas A&M, and he talked about just how important this team is at, continuing to bring that attitude that gets Mark Sears the hard hat.
What was the key for you to get it going?
Just trusting my shot, staying consistent, and then my teammates believing in me, finding me in open spots, getting me the ball to catch and shoot. I got yelled at again by coach not taking a shot. Y'all already probably know he yelled at me every game for not taking a shot. So, yeah, I came in the second half with a better mental, came in ready to shoot the ball, and it just worked for me.
So those guards, Sears with 23.
Seems like he has 23 every night.
That's what I was about to say. Yep. It's become automatic. 16 20-point games, 8 straight. The only parlay that I was close to winning on Saturday was an Alabama in-game parlay that I took all those guys over what they had and had Sears under 20.5 because I thought Buzz would try to take him out of it and would limit him, and he goes over 20.5, which is his total. If you do in-game parlays with Alabama at mybookie.ag,
always 20.5.
It's 20.5 every time. 20.5 every time.
I love it.
And by the way,
one parlay I almost did.
No, it was a brutal Saturday and Sunday in the parlay world. But Mark Sears with 23, 16 20-point games, 8 straight now. Ryland Griffin had 17. Latrell had 16. And Aaron Estrada, who was on the show with us last week, he had 11. Estrada's defense, though, pretty good. I thought the whole defensive effort was an improvement.
Oh, yeah. Look, A&M shoots 38%. A&M won the Battle of the Boards pretty handily, too.
Offensive rebounds specifically. They were sometimes down the floor, they were getting 2 rebounds, 3 rebounds.
Yeah, 26 offensive boards, and that's something that can really frustrate you and take a home crowd out of it. But again, this game's still not even close. And you look at Sears, Wrightsell, and Griffin, all 4 threes. When you have 3 guys that can hit 4+ threes in a game, watch out.
Yeah. And
Estrada was off. You're right. Played well at the defensive end, but he was only 1 of 5 behind the arc.
And then there is the fact that they have 8 100-point games. Now, it was a guy off the end of the bench that hit the one that got it to 100, the 3 at the buzzer.
Does not matter.
But
that
that's
one
still
counted.
100.
What did they get in Coleman for 100 points?
I don't know, but somebody's going broke doing it this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure they get anything.
That should be a universal thing.
I agree with Lance.
But I will tell you this. Instantly, this stat popped up. Steven Gonzalez, who sends out the information from Alabama. Alabama's the first team with 8 or more 100-point games in, I think he said college basketball. Maybe it's the SEC. Either way, since 1996 Kentucky. Remember how good that offense was?
Jeez. Yeah.
With the bad shorts, right?
Yeah, they did have that bad logos.
So that's a pretty impressive stat there. They got 12 90-plus. But then here comes this part of the schedule for Alabama. Florida at home this week, and it's one of those games that's a tough matchup for Alabama because they're so big inside. They're good guards, but they're so big inside. Then they go on the road to Rupp to play Kentucky. Then they have Tennessee, and they've got Ole Miss. They've got Florida. They got Arkansas down the stretch here. So it's that's the last 6 games as they try to win the SEC championship. Tough matchup in 4 of those. Rupp on the road, Tennessee at home, and 2 Florida dates, including one in Gainesville, one at home. Ole Miss on the road. Do you feel like Alabama's in a good spot to finish the deal and win this SEC championship?
It's so difficult to win on the road. I mean, Ole Miss 14-1 at home. Florida's 11-1 at home. Should be able to get these home games, but on the road, everything's difficult. And you heard Bruce Pearl earlier, back to Auburn real quick, saying, I told Steven our easiest game moving forward might be South Carolina. Now, that proved to be kind of easy, but when he said it, they were number 11 and they had 3 losses. So this is just life on the road in the SEC.
I mean, I think you could absorb 2 of those road losses and still win the conference.
If you beat Tennessee, right, at home.
I mean, maybe tied for the guy. If you beat Tennessee at home,
it's over.
Yeah. No, I think honestly, I think March 2nd probably is going to determine who wins the conference. I would agree. But you could absorb 2 of these road losses and still win the conference, I think. You can't drop a home game. When you look at everybody else's schedule, I just don't think Alabama can be dropping home games to Florida or to Arkansas or certainly to Tennessee because that's the team you're trying to hold off.
Taylor and I will be over in Coleman Wednesday night for the game, 6 o'clock tip, ESPN2, with Florida coming to town. Quad 1 opportunity even for a home game for Alabama,
Absolutely. Right? Where was Florida this morning, Jim? I was looking at the net. I think they're 20.
Somewhere around 27?
Florida is 28 right now. So assuming, 2 spots would be a lot to drop without playing a game. So
where are they projected about? 6?
I haven't seen.
6 or 7?
I haven't seen. Yeah. But yeah, they're 28. So that's a quad 1 home win. Top 30 is quad 1. Now, here's the tricky part. Alabama beating them could potentially, they're close enough. It could potentially drop them out of the top 30, right? If they're at 28 or 29.
Yeah, road loss to a team who's ranked
probably
Alabama
wouldn't.
Maybe even raise them up a little bit.
Yeah, Alabama has lost a quad 1 win. Indiana State has now dropped out of the top 30. Yep. So that has cost Alabama a quad 1 win there. So that's how that can happen.
For those that aren't paying attention, we mentioned they finally were ranked for the first time since Larry Bird. They went out and played 2 games last week, and they won none of them.
That's tough. Tough to keep that ranking.
I don't know how you do that because they seemed so much better than everybody else in the Missouri Valley. And look, we can call it an internal jinx because I didn't see them losing another regular season game. They were double-digit favorites in these games.
Some people don't handle the bright lights. There's another side of this Alabama story from Saturday that I find very interesting. But first, let me tell you about our friends at Legacy. LegacyCreditUnion.com is the website to get all the information about everything Legacy has going on. But right now, I want you to remember this website, a specifically website set up for this, swapanddrop.com, swapanddrop.com. That's because the annual Swap and Drop program is back at Legacy. Whether you have a car loan, a boat, a camper, a motorcycle, even an ATV, and you have that loan with another financial provider, you can swap it over to Legacy and drop your interest rate and your monthly payments. That's right. They have special competitive rates all the time. It gets even better during the Swap and Drop program. Just apply online, swapanddrop.com. It takes minutes, and you will save hundreds of dollars with our friends at Legacy. A limited time offer. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. It's the Swap and Drop program. Swap your car loan, truck loan from somewhere else and bring it over to Legacy. Swapanddrop.com. Swapanddrop.com.
Before we get too far away from it, in the chat room, a lot of people are making the point that game at Ole Miss, Ken Palm right now is 126 defensively. So Alabama's number one offense playing a defense, which that's got to keep Chris Beard up. I cannot imagine.
And that's surprising because normally when you see a coach like Chris Beard, they make an immediate impact in year one, at least defensively. Like, we don't have a ton of skill. I hadn't been able to bring in 4- and 5-star guys, but you know what? We can have effort. We can play defense.
So 126 defense against Alabama's offense. That's a tough home matchup for Ole Miss.
Yeah, it really is. They're 67-ish in the Ken Palm if you're looking at Ole Miss and starting to slip out of the conversation for the NCAA tournament right now. They honored the 2004 team both at UAB yesterday, who got the big win over North Texas. That team was a Sweet 16 team, Mike Anderson's bunch, and 2004 Elite Eight, Mark Godfrey's team in Tuscaloosa. Mark Gottfried and the guys were there. Gottfried, I think, had left his daughter's wedding from one earlier this month, and then he was back in Tuscaloosa walking off. I asked him, I said, man, what's it like being back, Mark? And he's like, loved it. It's good to be home. So a good crowd and a nice round of applause for the 2014 Petway, of course, getting the biggest applause of anybody part of that team there. I went back and looked. Mike Rada made me go look at this because Rada was off of UAB's win yesterday, tweeted that he made a choice to go follow UAB, not Alabama, back during the NCAA tournament run, and they went to the Sweet 16. That was a Conference USA that year that had 6 bids. 6 bids, including UAB, went to the Sweet 16.
Different conference back then.
That was back when DePaul and Marquette and Cincinnati and Louisville was in there. Great basketball league. They had 6 bids. That year, Alabama to the Elite Eight, SEC had 6 bids. And this is not that long ago, 2004, just 20 years. That same year, the Big Ten had 4. The Big 12 had 3.
Jeez. Conference USA had 6. The Big 12 had 3.
Yeah, and the SEC had 6. And Conference USA had 6. The Big 12 had 3, 4 at the Big 10. 7 combined. CUSA almost had as many as the Big 12 and the Big 10
Well, that was
combined.
a fun conference. I can remember that. It was a fun conference. You know, that was a fun March with both those teams making that run. UAB upsetting Kentucky, Alabama upsetting Stanford were obviously the big games there to get them both to advance. That was just really cool that they did it at the same time. I think, didn't they have the Sports Illustrated cover where both of them were on the cover?
Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah. That was really cool. That was a fun UAB team specifically to watch just because of that style of play under Mike Anderson.
We did a video this past week for Lance's Lock, and we were talking about the Mountain West. The Mountain West could have more teams at large than the ACC or maybe even the Big Ten. I think the count would be 6-6 right now. Yeah. But the Mountain West to get 6 in, I mean, that kind of reminds you of what you're talking about right now.
Imagine if BYU was still in it, because BYU is a tournament team too, now in the Big 12. That was one of the cool things in Tuscaloosa. So too was Terry and Nick Sabin was back for the game. First, Nate Oates talks about how important it is having Nick Sabin still around the program, something he looks forward to using for the foreseeable future.
I mean, he's, to me, maybe the best team coach of any team sport in modern college sports history, and he's right here. He's, I talked to him shortly after he retired. He told me when he's going to come back to town. I asked him if he wouldn't mind speaking to the team when he came back to town. So this was in the window. We kind of had the week off between games. I thought it'd be good for our guys to hear from a respected coach like him on what it took to win. He was great at churning out NFL players. He taught. He's great. He said, I don't know much about basketball, but here's what I can apply from football. I thought he was really good. I mean, he's obviously won a ton of games, and I've tried to learn as much as I can from him. I was fortunate that I was able to spend 5 football seasons with him here and learned a little bit. Shoot, if he's around here, I'm going to keep picking his brain, see if he can keep talking to our team as the years go on.
Couple of things. I had a dream that he took the Vanderbilt or was offered the Vanderbilt basketball job. Nick Saban.
Oh, Nick Saban.
Yeah, and I think he could get Vanderbilt probably to an Elite Eight if he took that, not knowing a lot about basketball. I truly believe a coach can coach.
Your point, and you've always said this, and I agree with you, that it doesn't matter sports, that there are guys like Nick Saban that could take over any type of sport and team, and it's about building a team, not necessarily the X's and O's of that particular sport.
And I think he is so invested that he would watch so much film and become a basketball junkie within months. So anyway, with that said,
how quick would he get teed up? I mean, like in football, you could go nuts up and down the sidelines.
Oh my gosh!
And not get a flag. He'd get teed up so quick in basketball.
I would think that they probably take Nick Saban for granted. Like, oh, Nick Saban, we just saw him on campus, a couple of weeks ago. 352 other teams, if he came to speak, they'd be wild. It's kind of like when we see Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
We don't think it's a big deal. But you saw in Indianapolis this weekend, everyone thought that was a big deal. But you just get so, I don't know. You get immune to this situation.
I saw randomly on TikTok, Dave Portnoy was getting interviewed, the founder of Barstool, getting interviewed out at the Super Bowl. And one of the questions was like one of those Fast Five questions, like favorite pizza you've ever eaten, things like that. And one of them was most famous person in your cell phone. And he had to think for a minute. He was like, oh, God, most famous person. He said, probably Charles Barkley. And I'm like, really? Yeah, I mean, like, to Lance's point, like, Charles is just Charles to us, right? I just thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, like if he said Derek Jeter, you'd be like,
yeah, okay, that makes sense. Or
what kind of conversations they've had.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've all got Barkley in our cell phone.
I know.
We're nobody.
It's just Charles to us. He's just a friend of ours. So it is kind of weird when you hear stuff like that. But I do wonder, like, how long can you roll Nick Saban in a Alabama basketball locker room and it be a meaningful guy? Like right now, to Lance's point, like those guys saw him on campus, but it's still Nick Saban, right? They know he's the GOAT. Like, how long will Nate Oates be able to roll him in there and the players be like, whoa, time out, here's Nick Saban. What's Coach going to say?
It may actually become more effective the further he gets away from coaching.
Yeah, I want to see this. We've got the dude in rugby now trying to get into the NFL.
Yep.
We've heard about LeBron back in the day. If he made the transition to wide receiver or tight end, how dominant he would be. I want to see a great coach like Nick Saban switch sports.
Yeah, Tom Izzo is one that always wanted to coach football.
Well, they say he ran his practices like it was football.
I'm just telling you with Saban, though, like college basketball officials have such bad rabbit ears.
Yep.
He'd get run. I mean, in football, again, he ran it up and down the sidelines, never got a flag.
Well, and Saban is so prepared, he would know. Hey, just because you slept at a shitty hotel in Des Moines last night doesn't mean you should miss that call. Yeah. That was an easy charge.
Yeah. By the way, the guy who did the Auburn game, which was 5 o'clock tip, I think it's Doug Shows. Is that how you say his name?
Doug Shows. Yeah, the gun show, man. Yeah. He likes to wear that medium.
I think he did the Auburn game. Was he on the Auburn game? But he was also doing the USF FAU, which was an 11 a.m. Central kick in Tampa.
Yeah. Not UAB. Not UAB, because that would have made too much sense to go from Auburn to Birmingham, right? He went from Auburn to Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, big game, big TV, national TV, ESPN game.
And doing 11 a.m.
No, he was in T-Town. That's right, Luke. He was in T-Town.
Okay.
I knew I saw him this weekend.
Okay, so at least he had 24 hours between tip times to execute this plan.
It was, exactly. 24 exactly hours to go from Tuscaloosa to Tampa and call another big game.
That's right, yeah.
Our friend Charlie was asking, would Oates take this Michigan job?
I don't think so.
They lose again this weekend to in-state rival Michigan State. They have lost now, by my count, 8 of their last 9 and 9 of their last 11. I don't think he would take that job. It just, I don't know how comfortable he was. Did he love the state of Michigan when he was there before? I don't know. Michigan is a better basketball job than Alabama historically, but now either one of those teams with the resources, you can get where you need to get.
Yeah, I would tell you every time he's on with us, he always talks about how he doesn't miss the cold weather of living up north.
Well, I don't know what this weekend was miserable.
Yeah, but it ain't Michigan miserable.
For us?
I thought it was miserable.
No, it is miserable.
The highs were in the 40s and
it was what you would call to me a dull 40.
Hey, you know what you didn't do? Blow snow off your driveway.
Yeah. No, that's what you're right. We sat by the fire pit, and after a couple of hours, I was like, it's too damn cold out here.
A couple of hours. In Michigan, you're outside for like 10 minutes, and your skin freezes.
A couple of our great sponsors here. We'll continue the conversation. Best and worst of the weekend coming up, being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. We'll get into that in the next segment. Tell us about Hemp Hill.
Yeah, make sure that unit is ready to keep up with this changing weather. I looked at my thermometer, and it was 61 degrees in my downstairs guy room. Had to flip it on. Look, always the HVAC is ready to roll because of our friends at Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the Next Round sent you. Hard to stop a train. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. That is Hemp Hill Services. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Hey, we got a lot of extra shows coming up this week, so we always try to remind you to not only subscribe at Next Round Live on YouTube and follow us at nextroundlive.com, but set your alerts. We always ask you anytime we're on to give us a thumbs up. That helps us tremendously. We appreciate you doing that. But set your alerts so you know when we're live. One of those live shows is coming up Saturday down at the BJCC with our friends from Johnston RV. The RV show is coming to the BJCC Saturday, so they're focusing on that Coleman store, I-65 exit 304. You get RV show pricing all month long, so you've got all February to get RV show pricing, but they're going to be down at the show Saturday. We'll be down there with them, and you can RSVP and get an extra up to $1,000 in incentives. Just go to johnstonrvcenter.com/TNR, johnstonrvcenter.com/TNR, to find out how you get those incentives. RSVP. See them I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, exit 334 in Decatur. Always online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
And we're back in a moment on TNR.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster. Champy's Chicken.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
You never know what we're up to here at The Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow The Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunsford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
All right, so big wins for Bama
in UAB over the weekend. Auburn drops one. More of the best and worst of the weekend. Right after LT tells us about the rump shaker coming to town.
Yeah, did you know that colon cancer, the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America, it affects men and women equally? If you're 45 or older, rump shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, visit rumpshakerinc.org. You can also, more information about the 16th annual Rump Shaker 5K that is coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regions Field. For more information and to get registered, go online to rumpshakerinc.org.
Alabama has hired an offensive line coach, according to Pete Thamel. He is Baylor offensive line coach Chris Kapilovic.
Good call.
That I actually have the pronunciation, so I was going to go another route on that. Chris Kapilovic, and Forrester is showing you a photo, and you might say, well, Brown, you said he's Baylor's offensive line coach. You guys couldn't find a more updated photo. He has been Baylor's offensive line coach for about 2 months right now. He was most recently with Michigan State, joined Dave Aranda's staff at Baylor on December 12th, and now is in Tuscaloosa. So 2 months in Waco is all he's going to log there. Basically, he's coming to Alabama from Michigan State, Chris Kapilovic.
So according to Pete, he was at Colorado before that, so he's right with Mel Tucker.
Yep, he's been a Mel Tucker guy. So I looked, because of that, Dunaway, to see if maybe he was like one of those army of analysts at Alabama. I don't see that.
No,
okay.
he's been in state, though. Alabama State from 2001 to 2005.
Yep.
All right, so he's on the move very quickly out of Baylor on his way to Tuscaloosa. That in college football. Best and worst of the weekend. Best of the weekend from Bob, John Waite concert in Hoover. The worst, brutally cold. From the John Waite. I ain't missing you. I ain't missing you. Yeah. Is that the one?
Yep.
That's the one. That's hard to do.
I think that is the one.
It's hard to do a whole concert on that.
Especially in the brutal cold.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to do the I Ain't Missing You remix coming up.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine there are some artists who start with their most popular song and then they sing it again at the end with a little twist to it, maybe just acoustic.
Maybe
I would imagine
so.
that's what a John Waite would do.
Yeah.
Your best and worst of the weekend. What was that, Brownie? You were on the road, right?
I was on the road. Scott's got video of my best of the weekend, and I mean, this is actually really pretty cool. I saw it on social media at first. I don't know if you noticed anything about number 16 going to the plate there for East Carolina.
He has one of those great athletic blades after an amputation on his right leg.
Yeah, which means, Dunaway, he is the first Division I college baseball player as an amputee to ever play a game. This guy had a accident in the water that almost cost him his life, and he lost his leg. And Parker Bird is his name. He's had 22 surgeries. Less than 2 years ago, had this accident. 22 surgeries, and is playing baseball on a prosthetic leg. That was his plate appearance Friday night. He walked, and then they pinch run for him. I don't know what they expect out of him. He's also a pitcher, but that is incredible, man, to have a prosthetic leg, 22 surgeries, and you come back and play college baseball. I don't know how you put that in context.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost Jim Abbott-like back in the day. And I watched the Iron Claw over the weekend about the Von Erich family.
Right.
I could not believe how big of a train wreck that family is. We talk about the Kennedys being jinxed. Whoa. Best of the weekend for me, I got home Friday. I did not leave my house again until Sunday.
Wow.
So that was pretty awesome.
What made you leave on Sunday?
I went and saw Brown's boy, George.
George Wright, pastor Shades Mountain Baptist.
And then did a little lunch and then came back, and that was about it. Got ready for True Detective, the series or the season finale last night. And it didn't stick the landing to me.
I'm glad I bailed out on that one. I never saw the orange roll out from under the bed.
We still had oranges rolling. I mean, it's worth the watch. I do think it was probably the second best behind season one. But it fell a little short there.
I've seen it described as a controversial ending.
I would call it controversial. There were some parts that were too neatly wrapped up, and there were some unturned stones that we'll never get the answers to, that they just kind of disregarded last night. It didn't make any sense.
That's disappointing when it ends that way. Maggie and I enjoyed. We never watched Only Murders
Only murders in the building.
So we binged first year, really, really good. I started the second year. She did not.
Did it not wear you out at the end of the first year? Like I thought it was really good early, and then they started just wearing me down the last couple of episodes. So I didn't even take a look at season 2.
Season 2 is off to a better start than season 1, and I guess there's a season 3.
I think they're like season 4 by now. Like, 'cause Meryl Streep's in it.
Yeah, just
they're shooting season 4.
I do enjoy the Steve Martin and the other guy,
Martin Short.
Martin Short are really good.
I like Martin Short the best.
Yeah, but that was a fun watch. My worst of the weekend, though, Rockstar, was cut number 8. And it's Rick Pitino. Now, they lost yesterday, so coaches who lose say a lot of things. But you're Rick Pitino. You got fired from Louisville for a variety of reasons, right? Louisville is one of the cream of the crop jobs, great facilities and everything. Now, Rick Pitino, not only complains about the facilities at St. John's, he then throws the players and athleticism under the car and then backs up and runs over them again. Listen to this post game yesterday.
We are so non-athletic that we can't guard anybody without fouling, and really it's not about losing. Because even in winning, when we watch the film, I see unathletic plays. I see people that don't handle the ball, that's just interested in taking quick shots. So it's been a disappointing year.
If you had to do it over again, would you have attacked your first offseason differently?
I had no choice. We just could take who we could get, who was available. We had no choice. I don't think we were going to win the first year anyway, because when you rush like that and you don't see the players and you just not a whole lot we can do. But it's I think I've enjoyed even the Celtics when we lost. I've enjoyed every minute being the Boston Celtic coach. Didn't like the fact that we lost in that following year, but this has been the most unenjoyable experience I've had since I've been coaching.
Wait.
You haven't.
Most unenjoyable experience I've had since I've been coaching?
I'd be like, hey, man, you lost your fastball a long time ago.
Yeah. Was that the end? Yeah, okay.
More.
Oh, there's more?
Thoughts of taking this job?
No, not at all. It's not St. John's. It's my team. Look, I'm disappointed. I don't want to say the wrong things, but I'm really disappointed in my team.
Yeah. Sure. I love how he doesn't want to say the wrong things after he says he hasn't enjoyed coaching this team.
And they lost 8 of 10.
At one point, did he not say, I think, also that, if we wanted to get slow on athletic players, we could have recruited like Missouri? I mean, I think he started naming other teams, too.
I could have coached in Manhattan still.
You were on the trash heap of coaches. Didn't he go coach somewhere over in
Iona?
But he was in like South Africa or Dubai, or he was somewhere.
I thought it was Italy, but maybe
it was Italy, but he was somewhere over there across the pond coaching with no TV deal. Then he's back over here at Iona, and we raved about it, Rick Pitino. Now you're at St. John, and you're gonna throw your players under the bus. You're gonna throw the facilities under the bus.
He was in Greece. He was coaching in Greece.
In Greece. Yeah. Now you start. You're reliving your days with the Celtics. I enjoyed losing with the Celtics, but this has been probably the most miserable year of my life. Well, I bet it's not the most miserable year of your life.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't know what you get out of saying that, because where St. John's is at 14-12 and losing 8 of 10. Even if they win out, which they will not win out, and they go deep in the Big East tournament, I still don't think they get in.
I kind of wanted him to win at St. John's, honestly, when he went in. I kind of wanted him to win.
I thought he would. I think ultimately he probably will.
Well, boy, I'm pulling hard against him now with that kind of attitude.
I like big games at Madison Square Garden. Just unfortunately, this year St. John team's not going to have that. Don't like coaches who throw their guys under the bus that hard. When we come back, we'll talk about the weekend in the SEC with Richard Hendrix. He joins us, SEC Network, Alabama fame there, and big weekend for the Tide as they stay atop of the SEC. The show being brought to you by our friends right there at Storm Restoration Roofing. He's Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531. We'll put that number on the screen for you if you are watching us today. But let me tell you about Greg. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. He and his wife own the company. It's been locally owned for over 20 years. He's the kind of of guy that insurance companies trust, but if he needs to go to battle with the insurance companies for you, he will do that. He's done that for one of our viewers already who is getting 80% of the roof paid for. He's trying to get 100%. So he's fighting for her right now, trying to get 100% from the insurance companies. He does roof replacement, storm damage, and that free no-cost roof inspection. No obligation, no-cost roof inspection. Just call him up, 205-542-3531, or look him up on Facebook. It's Greg from Pell City.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Ready to swap from your current auto or RV loan provider and drop your interest rate? Now is your chance. With Legacy Credit Union's annual swap and drop promotion, you can swap your current loan and save with Legacy in minutes. Whether you're a member or a potential member, Legacy Credit Union is here to help you drive into savings. Go online to swapanddrop.com or visit one of their 9 locations to take advantage of this incredible offer. Limited time offer, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. Let me introduce you to the new line of Red Wing athletic work shoes. This great new line is perfect for the industrial athlete, the guy who is working on concrete or running through the warehouse all day long. Red Wing Athletics use the same technology found in a running shoe, with soft mesh uppers, a lightweight aluminum toe for protection, and non-slip soles. This shoe is a winner. This comfortable new line of safety shoes are perfect for warehousing and light manufacturing. Plus, the colors look great. Stop by your local Red Wing shoe store, have your feet measured, and test drive a new pair of Red Wing athletic work shoes.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Alabama continues to add coaches to this coaching staff. Brown told you Chris Kapilovic is the offensive line coach who's coming from Michigan State via a drive-through Waco to take the tour of the home restorations. And then former UAB quarterback Brian Ellis, who was the offensive coordinator at Georgia Southern, ranked 18th nationally in total offense in 2022, and has worked as a quarterback coach at USC in Western Kentucky in the past, is coming to Alabama to be the tight end coach.
So he had been all Helton all the time. USC, Western Kentucky, and Georgia Southern, huh?
It's his first non-Helton job.
Yeah, you wonder if Clay Helton's one of those guys that will ultimately just become a coordinator.
I mean, he seemed pretty good at that, right?
Yeah.
Those Hilton brothers know how to call some offense now.
They do. But back to basketball we go this hour as we talk a little bit of what Alabama did to stay atop of the SEC standings and what Kentucky did to find their defense on the road at Auburn.
All right, so Richard Hendrix, you see him on the SEC Network, former Alabama great with us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Richard? How are you? You are muted, Richard.
Well, let me turn the mute off so you guys can hear me. But I'm doing great over here. How are y'all doing?
Doing awesome, man. We appreciate you coming on. Let's start with Auburn. Let's start with Auburn's loss to Kentucky. And Bruce Pearl, it was an interesting, he was asked by a member of the media, it was your first demoralizing loss. He goes, guys, I'm not demoralized. I mean, this is Kentucky. They played great. You're already shaking your head. I mean, I imagine as a competitor, you look at that and you're like, yeah, that's it. I mean, would you agree with Bruce that there's no reason to consider that a demoralizing loss?
No, it's listen, this is sports. This is sports. Auburn has a good team, but Kentucky has a good team. They have a Hall of Fame coach. They have McDonald's All-Americans all on the roster who are going to play in the NBA. Losing to Kentucky, even though it was college game day and you had the crowd, on fire, it's not something that should be demoralizing. If you look at Auburn, they're playing really good basketball. They struggled in the last game, obviously, against a very talented Kentucky team who's trying to start to figure things out, particularly on the defensive end. But it's one of those games. You have college game day in there. Everybody's hyped up. You might have been a little bit too emotional for the game, and it might have impacted Auburn's play. But if you look in the SEC, Auburn's schedule remaining amongst the other contenders in the conference might be the most favorable. So it's not a demoralizing loss for the Tigers. They have a really good team. They have balanced play with interior play with Janai Broom and Williams. And if the guard play can pick it up, then they can be a contender in the end.
Hey, sticking with Kentucky, the team we saw on Saturday, that is a dangerous team, obviously. But are you, and I brought this up, I think it was Thursday or Friday, you heard John Calipari basically calling his team out. Offensively, we're really good. Defensively, we've got to have that effort. Are you one of those that believes if you've got great athletes, you can play great defense?
Oh, absolutely. I think if you have athletes and if you have talented offensive players, that usually translates in some degree of them being better defensive players because they take pride in their game. Kentucky is talented. I mean, the entire roster. The only thing that they have that works against them outside of Antonio Reeves is the youth. And I think when you look at the college basketball landscape, it takes an older, more mature team to really get it done, particularly in the NCAA tournament. So Kentucky's just going to have to grow up quickly. And when you have talented offensive players that are so young, it's very challenging to get them to commit to the defensive end every single possession for 40 minutes. And that's the challenge that Kentucky has. But when they can do it, they have the athleticism to shut down and guard people, and they can be a contender as well.
Okay, so Jalen Williams is out. It's not season ending, which is great news. But when he hasn't really done well, when he doesn't put up double figures, this team has lost some basketball games this year. So he's out for an extended period of time. Where does Auburn look for to sort of replace what Jalen Williams brings to the floor for them? Because he is really good.
Well, I don't think they can replace him with one particular man. You talk about a different type of big man when you talk about Cardwell checking in from the bench. He's more of an energy guy, a screener, a roller, can catch alley-oops, and just a hustle man, whereas Williams actually has a legitimate low-post skill set and a soft touch from the perimeter in the mid-range. He also has playmaking ability and plays well, has good chemistry with Janai Broom in the two-man game. If Auburn's going to have to make up for Williams' loss, it's going to have to be the guard play. They're going to have to be far more consistent. When you talk about KD Johnson, as they call him, when the KD and the Sunshine Band, they have to pick it up. You're going to have consistent play. You have to limit the turnovers. You're going to have to be more consistent as far as controlling the ball and the tempo of the game and not get caught up in sporadic moments. Janai Broom, I think, is probably the best big in the SEC alongside with Tolu Smith. And when he's playing well, that gives you a factor that other teams don't have. But at the same time, Auburn's guard play in the defense is going to have to be what picks them up with Williams being out.
Richard Hendrix, SEC Network, is with us. You can follow Richard on Twitter as well, at rhendrix35, at rhendrix35. Let's flip the page to Alabama. When you can put 100-plus on a Buzz Williams defense, you have done something. This team, Richard, this team, man, when they're in Coleman and they're comfortable shooting that basketball, they are really, to me, impossible to beat in that situation.
You're absolutely right. And the credit has to go to Nate Oates. When you look at removing or replacing 3 assistant coaches on the team that went 16-2, won the SEC championship, and also the tournament championship, when the number 1 overall seed, several new faces on the roster, Mark Sears being the main contributor who was returning, along with Rylan Griffin, who was more of a reserve role. What he's been able to do to find his team in first place after 12 games is phenomenal. So much turnover, beating teams in not dramatic fashion, but emphatic fashion, blowing teams out, 8 100-point games. It's remarkable. The credit has to go to Nate Oates. It's really good to see so many fans in Coleman Coliseum, because when you have this type of level of coaching, this caliber of players making this type of impact when it comes to championship level, you should be in the seats and check this team out.
So earlier in the show, I said if Alabama makes 18 threes in a game, NCAA tournament, SEC tournament, Coleman Road, I don't think there's a team that beats them in America. And a lot of people, and Richard, a lot of people are like, well, they made 19 against Purdue and lost. And my point there is that was like, what was that, game 7 or 8 for this Alabama team? I'm going to say this team's gotten a little bit better since game 7 or 8. They had not even played basketball together hardly.
I agree. I totally agree. I think when you look at the college landscape, college basketball, the way teams play, Alabama can win a national championship. I don't think you can count anyone out. I know people look at it, and I've been known to say that, the interior play, the lack that they have is something that could happen when they run into teams in the NCAA tournament or in the SEC tournament, that you don't have that dynamic or that attribute as well. But at the same time, when they're shooting the ball they do from the perimeter, when they're getting out in transition, when they defend, they are very, very tough to beat. And Nate Oates has his team playing high-level basketball. They look really good right now. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They have several players stepping up in reserve roles. And when you have that, it's a tough team to beat, because teams get trapped into playing Alabama style. And if Alabama can get you to play their way, it's going to be a tough one for you.
Who is more important down the stretch for Alabama, Griffin or Wrightsell?
Oh, wow. I think it's probably going to be Griffin. The reason I say it's going to be Griffin is because he does a little bit more also defensively as far as disrupting things, guarding different assignments. Now, it's splitting hairs, because Wrightsell obviously comes in and does tremendous things and fills it up from the outside really quickly. But I do think that Wrightsell comes across as a little bit more consistent offensive threat. But when Rylan Griffin has it going, that's the X factor. Because not only can he shoot from the outside, when the outside shot's falling, he can also put it on the deck and finish into the paint. But defensively, he can also block some shots and pull some rebounds, get into the passing lanes. That's going to be something that's going to be critical. But, it's credit to Rylan Griffin, because he has really grown up here in year 2 in the program and turned himself into a bona fide player and a stud on this roster.
There was a moment when I would be around some Alabama fans. They were not happy with what Grant Nelson was offering up for this Alabama team. But down the stretch here, it seems like he has settled into his role, which has changed since he got here. And he seems to be getting more and more comfortable with the way they play basketball in the SEC. Can you talk about the Grant Nelson we see now compared to, say, when you and I were at the Indiana State game? That Grant Nelson, how has he changed, and how's he looking to you down the stretch here?
Well, he's looking great, but that one thing to touch on, that's Alabama fans not changing, not being happy with the team that's number 1 in the conference and lead the way. That right there is something that really you got the best team in the league for the last 3 or 4 years, and you're still unhappy about a player who's transferred in from the mid-major level, playing out of position, playing the center position for the most part, who's really a legitimate 3 or 4 small forward, power forward type player. I think the expectations were high for Grant Nelson. You come in, we've seen the highlights. A lot of teams did not watch him play at his previous school, but you've seen the highlights on Instagram, on social media, and a lot of people who don't like to sit down and truly watch the tape and watch what he's doing in his league and see how the team is doing in their league. They don't understand what players are. He stepped in with big shoes to fill with Brandon Miller going to the NBA, and you think he's a replacement that's going to do exactly what Brandon Miller does. Brandon Miller was absolutely box office. I've said it before. I thought he's maybe the best player Alabama ever had. And you're filling in after that. And you want to see the same things. And he started off the season hot, dunking on people, taking it to the basket, shooting from the outside. But what he has turned into is a high-level glue guy. And when you have a player of that magnitude, 6'11", who can do it all, he can guard the 4, 5, 3, and 2. He can switch on defense. He can block shots. He's rebounding better. He's shown some toughness. And when he can hit the shot from the outside, you have the offensive versatility that you want to have with his driving ability and ability to finish on dump-offs. So I think the tone was set on the expectations of him was off. But he's grown into what he really is. And he's a really good player, and he's starting to find his role in this team, and he's a big reason why they're in first place in the league.
I worry about everything when it comes to Alabama. So this Florida matchup, how tough of a matchup is it for Alabama? Do they, matchups make fights, right? Styles make fights. Does Alabama match up well with this Florida team with their guard play and their size inside?
Florida is a team I've had several times this year and got to see up close. Talent-wise, if you see them, they are physically impressive, and maybe they go just as deep as any other team in this league as far as talent. You talk about Tyrese Samuel. He has the potential and the ability to really be the best big in the SEC when he's on his game. He can rebound really well. He can score over both shoulders. He has a soft touch, and he can play in the pick-and-roll game. But it's the guard play that Florida has that you need to be concerned with. Zion Pullen, who scored in double figures, I believe, every game this season. So the level of consistency that he has alongside Walter Clayton Jr., who's so athletic in what he's able to do in the pick and roll game and in transition and shooting the deep ball. Riley Kugel, who's one of the better athletes in the league. So Florida, as far as athleticism and positions, they match up very well with Alabama and any team in the league. But Alabama hosting this game, they have an opportunity to really get a big-time win because Florida is not a team to play around with, as you can see, as they're playing right now and solidifying themselves in the NCAA tournament.
Richard Hendrix, SEC Network. Before you go, I know you spent some time in Nashville, if I'm not mistaken, as well, and the Vandy job has come open. What type of coach can they pull there at Vandy? What is the temperature for Vandy basketball fans?
Do you want the job, Richard?
Oh, wow. Wow, that's some breaking news that I did not hear. So you might have to update me. I've been out early already doing certain things with the kids and whatnot. They had a day off, but the Vandy job has come open.
Yeah. They moved on from Jerry Stackhouse over the weekend.
Oh, my goodness.
I missed that. Did they really?
Okay, now, did I bite into one of these internet memes?
Yeah, Scott said it's a fake tweet.
Yeah. Damn it, Scott. Why didn't you tell me that before the show?
Okay, if the Vanderbilt job is open.
The Vanderbilt job is going to come open. Jerry Stackhouse's, they're going to move on from Jerry Stackhouse. I did what... God, I hate it when I do it, too. I bet a fake tweet. Jerry Stackhouse.
Get the fake tweets off the internet.
Well, I can't help it. When the job comes open, what kind of person is that going to draw?
Well, first off, I think that Jerry Stackhouse might have the most challenging job in the SEC. When you talk about the academic standards that it takes to get into Vanderbilt, the addition of name, image, and likeness in the transfer portal makes it very hard to win at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt historically is a really, really good team and a really good job in the SEC. They've done a lot of really good things. Kevin Stallings had them rolling when I was in school, winning the SEC and winning the tournament, popping out SEC Players of the Year with Derek Byers and Shane Foster and guys getting drafted to the NBA in the first round with Festus Ezeli and on and on and on. I mean, several guys. But it has changed from a standpoint that now the strength of the Vanderbilt job was to be able to grow players in your program over a period of time, and then also playing with a home court advantage with the bitches on the baseline, which changes things a little bit about how you can win there, and playing a different type of style of ball, a little bit more intricate offense made it difficult. They were the change-up that which you played in the SEC as far as style is concerned. But with that being the case now, as he's developed players, Jordan Wright, Miles Studi, other players in recent years who are now in the transfer portal and contributing at LSU, winning the game against South Carolina. Studi with his team was tied up for first place recently, now playing for Lamont Paris at South Carolina. Very hard to get it done there. But if you look at his team, I felt like he should have been an NCAA tournament team last year. They got snubbed and should have been in it and could have won the NIT. They were upset at home to UAB. So this is a team that can be good, but it's a very, very challenging job, and you really have to know the college landscape, have great connections, and more than anything, try to keep your players there.
Richard Hendrix at our Hendrix35 SEC Network. Thank you very much for the time, Richard. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And I think Stackhouse has done a good job. I hope those fake tweets that put out there, they need to lay off that.
I agree.
Coaches have a tough job, and it's a lot of good ones in the Southeastern Conference, and he's one of the better ones as far as when you talk about running offense. So really good coach and other coaches around this league.
Fantastic. Well said. Thank you very much, Richard. Take care. And I apologize for putting Richard on the spot with a fake tweet. And even worse, I suck for falling for the fake tweet. But all you making fun of me in the chat room, I've invested my life savings with Dunaway's crypto plan. So the last laugh is on you, not me.
Hey, our show being brought to you, Brownie, by our friends at Manscaped. You may be falling for fake tweets, but you don't fall for a hairy, out of whack beard, do you?
I do not fall for a hairy, out of whack beard, Jim. That is one thing you could say about me, and it's always true. I use the beard hedger every single Sunday. Now, listen, I'm a creature of habit. Every single Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, I use that beard hedger. And here's what I like about the beard hedger. It's got the dial on it where I could dial up and down the guard, so I don't have to pop the guard off, pop the guard back on. It is not going to pop off at an inopportune time and gap my beard. I love it. And the Beard Hedger is just one of the great products they have there at manscaped.com. They've also got the lawnmower and the new Lawnmower 5.0, which takes care of all the body hair and the undercarriage so you can look clean all over. They've got the Weed Whacker, takes care of the nose hair and the ear hair. They've got great male body products. They've got boxer shorts that, I mean, you talk to anybody that's worn those Manscaped boxer shorts, they absolutely love them. And you can get them now, manscaped.com. And if you enter code TNR at checkout, you are going to save 20% off your initial order and free shipping with code TNR at manscaped.com. Code TNR. So make sure that you're looking the best you can, whether it is your beard, your full body, the ear hair, the nose hair, those male body products, the great boxer shorts, by going to manscaped.com and use code TNR at checkout. Code TNR at checkout. And you could save 20% and free shipping at manscaped.com.
Forrester has what Brown fell for. Let's see how legitimate this looked, because Forrester's really wants to throw Brown under the bus. Apparently, he's texting me saying, "I've got a caption of the tweet here. We have decided to part ways with Coach Jerry Stackhouse. We appreciate all the contributions he has made to the program. We wish Jerry nothing but the best in the future."
I mean, what does it look real about that?
I mean, it does look very nice.
It came from, it was probably one of those that was like Vanderbilt Commodores on Twitter, but it looked
I don't.
Did they misspell Vanderbilt? Is that what it is?
That's what I'm saying. Is like on Twitter, sometimes they'll just change a letter so you get sucked in.
So here we go. It came from Big Orange Punch, Brownie.
That's not where I saw it. Somebody had copied the thing and pasted it.
Okay, so you did not get it off Big Orange Punch?
I would have known if I had gotten off Big Orange Punch.
I don't understand the end game when some anonymous Twitter account throws something like this out there.
The end game is what I just did, but I doubt Big Orange Punch was watching.
Big Orange Punch. But that's not where you got it.
No. I would have known better than Big Orange Punch.
There's a Kool-Aid man.
Is that the orange Kool-Aid man?
Yeah.
Up there. No blue check, just the orange
Do
Kool-Aid
you guys
man.
remember when there was a moment in time where we had about a third of the grocery aisle was nothing but Kool-Aid packs?
It didn't seem like it was a third, but there were a lot of Kool-Aid packs.
It was massive.
Yeah, it was like it was as big as the magazine section is now.
Or as big as like the Powerade / any sports drink section.
Yeah, it was a nice opportunity choices. It's back up. What is this? What does it say now? Forrester, Mike?
That's the context that Twitter has added to the fake tweet. This is not true. There have been no releases by Vanderbilt University regarding Stackhouse's future with the program. This post was made by a Tennessee fan who changed their profile to trick people.
Oh, so they could have been that he changed his profile and it's now back to Big Orange Punch. Is that what you're saying?
That's what it seems to.
So the one I saw looked like it was from actual Vanderbilt basketball. Like I said, a lot of times they'll just change a letter. And, I don't read well anyway. So
I
it looked like
think
Sabin.
Richard does a great job, but I disagree. He's not the only person to say this about the academic standards at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is dominant at baseball, and you've got a much bigger roster in baseball. We've seen teams like Michigan win a national championship in basketball. I don't think the academic standards are much different at Michigan than Vanderbilt. You just got to get the right guy in. I mean, Kevin Stallings, I think, went to 3 Sweet 16s.
Yeah. That used to be what Vanderbilt's calling card was basketball, and obviously is baseball now. UAB's calling card this year is big play inside Yaxel Lindenborg. Do you know his height?
6'9".
Yeah, he's 6'9".
Yeah, he is 6'9".
He's got a wingspan.
Probably 240. Yeah, but 7-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
Plays so much bigger. 26 points yesterday in the win over North Texas, 71-62. 9 straight at home, 5 of the last 6 overall. And with South Florida beating Florida Atlantic, UAB has a chance now to continue to ascend up and get a good seed for the American tournament coming up. Back home Wednesday against Rice. Here's Andy Kennedy afterwards on just what a drag-em-out, beat-em-up kind of game this was over North Texas at Bartow.
The theme of the week was will over skill. This ain't going to be about who's the most skilled team. Sometimes we play some teams in our league that are very skilled. We're playing one on Wednesday. They're very skilled, and schematically they're going to do some things that are a little unorthodox just based on running it through their 5-man fielder. And so it's just different. So we have to be prepared for different. This ain't going to be different. This is going to be a good old rock fight. It's like going to the dentist. I need to go, too. I hadn't been in a while. And it's like going to the dentist, and you really don't enjoy it when you're sitting in that chair. But when you get out, you feel like you got something accomplished. That's kind of how I feel right now.
Yeah, got something accomplished against North Texas on Sunday there. That sound brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision today, getting you back in the game when it comes to your eyesight, LT.
Yeah, make that phone call that I made almost over 2 decades ago now, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with the pre-inflation pricing. Also, hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
Here we go. We're rolling on today. Show being brought to you in part by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. We're about to discuss some wacky, what are they called? Bold predictions. It's a different term that Brad Crawford uses at 24/7 for college football coming up.
How many does he have?
He's got 10. It's always 10.
So 3 are going to be bold? Maybe.
Okay. I will tell you that it's a... when it comes to bold predictions, it's not the worst list I've ever seen.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get to that. Daring predictions is what he calls them today, away from bold. But if you want to do something daring when it comes to your weight loss, it's our friends at Way to Wellness. Jumpstart that weight loss today by going to this website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That will take you to Way to Wellness. Find Leslie and her board-certified team. I'm looking at a camera over you. I'm not staring at you. I promise you. You're turning around looking for something. You're looking for the teleprompter I'm reading. Exactly. Aplanforme.com. Aplanforme.com. It's Way to Wellness. No contracts, no sign-up fees. And your journey to healthy living starts right there with that first free consultation. Jumpstart the weight loss with our friends at Way to Wellness. It's your journey to healthy living. Some real football news, not prediction, over the weekend. Steve Sarkisian gets a new contract. $10 million per year, a little over that, for 6 years through 2030. What's stupid about it, Brown?
It's $50 million guaranteed dollars. Why you would guarantee Steve Sarkisian $50
He ain't going nowhere. This is ridiculous.
He was making $5.6 million. He had a team in the playoff. You don't think he deserves market value? There are 10 coaches that make $10 million.
I think you just saw a school in your state have to buy out a coach that you knee-jerk guaranteed a ton of money to. Why you would do it at Texas is beyond me. So stupid.
And he's had one 10-win season in 10 years. 10 years. One 10-win season.
Yeah, I would tell you, first off, this contract was decided on. They signed, dotted the I's and crossed the T's immediately after Nick Sabin retired. And one of the first things that was popping up was Steve Sarkisian, could he return to Alabama?
So they got played by Jimmy Sexton.
Well, I mean, you guys can say it's stupid.
It is stupid.
Okay?
Yeah.
The Steve Sarkisian.
So stupid. Average coach.
Is now making... He's an average coach.
Yeah.
Okay. I cannot believe y'all say some of the things you say on the air. He was just in the college football playoff. How many average coaches have been in the college
Sonny
football playoff
Dykes
since 2014?
Sonny Dykes.
Below average.
Sonny Dykes is a
Luke Fickell average.
Yeah.
I don't think Luke Fickell's an average coach at all.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, I think what you have seen, the history of Steve Sarkisian says he's an average head coach.
Okay. Jimbo Fisher, by the way.
Next
Jimbo
6 years.
Fisher also average head coach.
Next 6 years, how many times will Texas be in the college football playoffs?
Well, I mean, it's a 12-team playoff.
Oh, so the average coaches are going to get there now? It's a 12-team playoff.
Yeah, there will be some average coaches that get there.
Mark Helfrich was in the playoffs.
Yeah, Helfrich was there.
Yeah.
Ed Orgeron.
Well,
we can do this all day.
Ed Orgeron won the
Larry Coker won back-to-back.
Average coaches can win national championships.
Below average head coach.
Gene Chiswick.
Can win national championships.
Ed Orgeron and
Gene Stallings.
So who deserves $10 million in y'all's eyes right now? Who deserves
$10 million? It's not about the $10 million.
Kirby for sure.
Well, you said it's stupid.
It's stupid to guarantee the guy
why would you
$50 million.
He's not going to leave. Where's he going to go?
Why are you guaranteeing
he could go anywhere. He could go anywhere.
I mean, it's stupid, Jim. I'm sorry. I don't know why you're so upset about it.
Because he just got to a college football playoff and he's got his quarterback coming back and they're going to be in the top 5, he's going to go anywhere?
He could. He could go anywhere he wanted to. There's a boatload of schools that would want Steve Sarkisian to be their head coach.
Yeah, but are those schools as good as Texas?
Yeah, I mean, you've got a good job.
That's what I'm saying. You're not going to leave.
Yeah, but you're going to keep paying him $5.6 million when Lane Kiffin's making, what, $8?
Well, Lane Kiffson's overpaid.
Yeah.
So your point is a lot of people are overpaid.
No, but I agree with Brown. Like, you don't have to give him this guarantee, this $50 million, because he's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah,
he hasn't earned that.
You just saw a school in your state have to fork over the biggest check we've ever seen because they knee-jerk guaranteed a guy a contract.
Yeah, I don't mind him getting a bump.
No,
but $50 million is crazy guaranteed.
So what would you pay him? What is a non-stupid amount to pay Steve Sarkisian?
$7 million a year.
I'd pay him $8 to $10 million a year.
$8 to $10 million.
Yeah.
So $10 million is stupid, but $8 to
Jim,
10.
I did not say $10 million is stupid. You're making some weird argument because your last name.
You've got a fascination with Sarkisian.
I
I get dogged out for Bobby Petrino and guys like that, but you
Let me say it
love
clear.
some Sark.
You can pay him $10 million. I don't know why you're guaranteeing him $50 million. My issue, Jim, is with the guarantee, not the salary.
But when our agents get us guarantee stuff, that's good, right?
It was fantastic.
So that's just their agent doing the job, right? Getting him guaranteed money from Texas.
Yeah, but if I was Texas, I'd tell the agent, I'd tell Jimmy Sexton to kick rocks.
It's done for Texas to do it.
I don't know. There's 50 coaches that could have got Texas to the college football playoff this year.
50 of them.
Yeah.
All right. Steve Sarkisian gets a $10 million per year deal. It'll go up to around a little under $11 million by the end of the contract in 2030. There's a good chance he'll get another contract extension and more money before it's over with when he's average playoffs of the 12-team playoffs down the road here as they come to the SEC.
I can't believe you don't think average coaches could go to the playoffs and win games. It happens all the time.
Yeah, but they don't do it on a consistent basis.
Yeah, well, Sark hasn't either.
Sark's on a one-year streak right now.
Right.
You don't think he'll be there this year?
No, he is a consistent participant in the Alamo or Holiday Bowl.
From now on?
I don't know from now on. Probably 12. If he doesn't get to a 12-team playoff, it's a massive disappointment.
We've got a track record on the guy. You forget.
Yeah.
I think.
We do. I mean, do you think that track records play out into the future? So what we've got from everybody in the past, it always continues?
Dude, he lost 12 games in 2 years at Texas in his first 2 years.
All right. So right now, you guys are saying next 6 years, what do we get from Steve Sarkisian?
I would say
3 playoff appearances and no championships.
That feels about right.
3 playoff appearances, no championships.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go over on the playoff appearances.
Yeah, I would probably go more than 3 playoff appearances in 6 years, but no championships.
I mean, who's in a better situation right now in the SEC other than Georgia than Texas is?
Alabama, LSU.
I mean, what do you define better situation?
A better setup roster-wise to win games.
Roster-wise, maybe not. Not a lot of teams.
That's right. Georgia and then Texas.
But there are other coaches that I believe in a lot more than Sarkisian.
If it was all just building a roster, a lot of guys would do it.
So you think Brian Kelly is going to win more games at LSU than Texas in the next 6 years?
I would much rather have Brian Kelly than Sark. And anybody that says they'd rather have Sark than Brian Kelly is either drunk or
that's your
stupid.
opinion. You had LSU in the playoffs and winning the championship this year, and they played in what bowl game?
Based on the history of
Were they the
Brian
ones in
Kelly.
the Alamo Bowl? No.
Based on the history of Brian Kelly. Yeah. Brian Kelly is a much more first of all, I think he's a better coach, but his resume is not even close to Steve Sarkisian. Steve Sarkisian is an 8-win coach on average with great programs.
Odie's bringing us this part of the show today, back at Trivia on Wednesday night with LT. Odie's a great place for lunch today with chili.
But he did coach at Alabama, as Chris said in the chat, so there is something to that. Right. Stop by one of the 2 great locations of Odie's, the original.
Forbid if he'd coached for the Rams, we'd really be talking
Crest
about
line.
it, right?
Nope, I dog out these guys just as much. I just don't know your infatuation with Sarkisian.
I think he's a great play caller. He's got a good job at Texas. They're moving to the SEC. They've got a lot of money for NIL, and I think that adds up to winning.
But he's an average coach that's guaranteed $50 million now.
Yeah.
One thing that's also guaranteed is great food from our friend Rodney Davis at Odie's Tavern. 2 locations, the original in Crestline, the newest location right there in Homewood, the corner of Oxmoor and Broadway. Stop in, see Will Haver and the great staff. Ice cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. It's Odie's Tavern.
Brad Crawford writes for 24/7. He's got 10 daring predictions before SEC spring practice and college football spring practice starts. He has Kansas in the college football playoff rankings when it starts and battling to be in the playoffs this year because of Jalen Daniels. Daring or not?
Oh, that's daring.
Yeah, that's daring.
I think he's incorrect, but it is definitely daring. I give him points for daring.
Yeah, they came really close to 10 wins under Lance Leipold. I think most people think he's one of the better coaches in college football, and Daniels is a hell of a player. Can he stay healthy?
Your favorite in the Big 12 this year is going to be who?
Probably Utah. Probably
Utah, Oak State, I think will get some love.
Kansas State.
Kansas State will.
Yeah.
I think Kansas will be mentioned. Don't get me wrong. No, they'll be mentioned.
Kirk Cignetti wins 8 games in his first year in Indiana.
I haven't looked at their schedule, but that seems
to be a lot for Indiana.
Yeah, that would be a stretch.
Here's one you're going to love, LT, because you love this guy. NC State reaches their first ACC championship game.
I thought it was going to be last year. You know, when they quietly got to 9-4, it was a really rough start. You've got Tennessee out of conference. They've got to go to Clemson. They avoid Florida State, though. I could see that with this schedule.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got to be no divisions.
They got to go to Cal, though.
Got to be the top 2 teams there. Cal is a conference game.
That was my sarcasm.
Yeah. USC loses 4 games versus the top 25 again. Lincoln Riley making a recommitment over the weekend that he has no interest in being a future NFL coach. He wants to get it done at USC, which I think is good for the program that he's recommitting himself there and taking that off the board about the NFL, that he wants to get it done there at USC. He also says he wants to build the program like Michigan has, not so much through the portal. He wants to recruit and sort of develop those guys.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is a big year at USC. I mean, Caleb Williams is obviously gone. Deanne Lynn taking over this defense that was 121st nationally last year, giving up over 30 points per game. The defense was just as bad as it was in 2022. The difference was they forced a lot of turnovers and they got a lot of breaks in close games, and they were unable to do that in 2023. I think there are 4 or 5 coaches that have so much pressure coming into 2024, and Lincoln Riley is one of those guys. And, you know, it started out great. They were 6-0. Coming off the triple overtime win to Arizona, they go to Notre Dame, they get shellacked there, and they just never were the same.
Cam Ward, ACC Player of the Year at Miami. I know you guys like Cam Ward a lot.
Yeah, ACC Player of the Year. I just don't know that Miami's going to be good enough under Mario Cristobal to have an ACC Player of the Year would be the problem.
That's the thing. Is that's a bold statement based on the fact that Miami was 7-6, 3-5 in conference last year. And if Cam Ward is your Offensive Player of the Year, you got to assume Miami playing in the conference championship game are really close.
This is Brad Crawford's daring predictions before spring practice starts around the country. Nebraska records its best season since 2016. I don't think that's saying a lot, but a step forward for Matt Rule at Nebraska.
What would that be that season? I mean, this is when I do expect the jump from Matt Rule.
Yeah. I mean, I want to pull up his schedule just real quick before we move on from this one.
I mean, they should start. I mean, they could start 7-0.
Yeah, so they'll get them bowl eligible, right?
I mean, you got UTEP, Colorado, and Northern Iowa at home, and then Illinois at home. You're going to be favored in all 4 of those games. You go to Purdue, that'll be close to a pick. You got Rutgers at home, you'll be favored. At Indiana, probably close to a pick.
They ought to go into the Ohio State game on the road undefeated.
Yeah,
I would agree.
You could be 7-0. You lose to Ohio State. You should beat UCLA at home 8-0 at USC. I mean, 9 wins is a possibility for Nebraska.
There's bowl games is a step forward.
But I still think that's bold. I mean, this is a bold list so far.
Oh, yeah, you've approved. Yeah. Rarely do you do this.
And here's my favorite one. The group of 5 team that makes the playoff for him this year is USF, South Florida.
That is bold.
Alex Golish.
Golish done a good job,
He's
man.
gotten praise for what he has done down there. There's no doubt about it. And some of that goes back to the Alabama game. That was an interesting set of circumstances there in the Alabama game. But I think if Alabama had started Jalen Milroe in that game, they probably win by 30.
Yeah, I don't even think they've got a schedule put together yet.
Why not?
I mean,
they haven't announced the schedule.
I'm having a hard time finding it.
I'll see if I can find it.
I mean, but that was an impressive 7-6. I mean, South Florida was awful. We remember Jim Leavitt had some really good years there, and that program had completely tailed off.
Well, keep in mind, they do come to Tuscaloosa, and they do play Miami out of conference. So, I mean, God, they could beat Miami. That wouldn't blow me away.
No.
Huh?
I said no, yeah. Middle Tennessee State beat them.
And they host that game for what it's worth in Raymond James Stadium. Yeah. So, they could beat Miami.
And now the 2 that involve the SEC. Lane Kiffin, Coach of the Year, according to Brad.
I find that hard to believe, but if so, that means they're in a college football playoff.
And that 4 SEC teams make the college football playoff, something you guys have been saying you think.
It's 3 or 4.
3 or 4. He says 4 make it.
I think Kiffin's a bolder prediction, though. I mean, one of those 4 would be Ole Miss.
No, there was a ... on this one. 4 SEC teams make the playoffs. But no Alabama. 4 SEC teams without Alabama.
Okay, so you would go Texas and Georgia. And then I guess
Ole Miss and Missouri.
Yeah. Or I guess an LSU could pop up there, and Auburn possibly could pop up. That's a bold list.
It is. That's from Brad 24/7.
Good job, Brad.
You can go and see why he says the things he says there, and read why he thinks those things will happen. Always interesting this time of year, right before spring football starts. We all have extended coverage at Next Round Live of spring football around the Southeastern Conference coming up. So make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms. Like and subscribe and follow wherever and whatever it asks you to do on the different sites there. The show today being brought to you by our friends at Precision Sports. In 2024, it's a new year and a new way to stay in the game. If you tweak your back or leg playing pickleball or doing some work in the yard as you get the yard ready for spring to pop up, Precision Sports can get you back to work or back in the game. All you have to do is call this number, 205-512-3885, 512-3885, or go online to precisionsportsortho.com/2024, precisionsportsortho.com/2024. Orthopedic care is better together, and they'll help you get back into the game. Precision Sports, the number again, 205-512-3885 or precisionsportsortho.com/2024.
Call the Next Round now at 205-734-0923.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of the Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the Next Round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Back with you on the Next Round as we roll on today. Before we get to bandwagon, a couple of more coaching notes here. Cadillac Williams looks like he's heading to the NFL. Going to be running back coach for the Raiders. That from Mike Giddens from the War Report down in Auburn.
He's got a little break when Deshaun Foster took the UCLA job.
That's right. That's who he's following up there, if that does pan out. Will Redmond is back at Auburn. He's going to be Auburn's general manager. Everyone this offseason is hiring a general manager and giving it that label, that role there, and Will Redmond is going to be that for Auburn. Those guys, from what I've told in the general manager role, they're really in charge of player personnel, portal, keeping your players from going to the portal, finding good players in the portal, helping with recruiting, overseeing a bunch of player movement in the roster.
Well, I think that position is only going to become more and more important because I think eventually you're going to need an NFL-like general manager, a guy that handles your salary cap and a guy that evaluates talent and decides we could pay this for this and this for this. I think it's going to become one of the more prominent jobs
I agree, but the difference in the NFL, everything is black and white with the CBA and contracts and I think you can only be criticized being a general manager at this level right now until you figure everything out.
Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers, hired Brian McClendon, Georgia's wide receiver coach, known as a really good recruiter, and he's out of college now, heading to be coach with the Buccaneers, same position there. And Notre Dame did something over the weekend that they've never done before. They gave Al Golden a 4-year contract as a defensive coordinator. Mike Denbrock's got a 4-year deal as the offensive coordinator. So for the first time in Notre Dame's history, both their coordinators have 4-year contracts.
That is pretty wild. I mean, there was a time where coordinators were almost all year-to-year guys. And I remember when you got a coordinator with a 2-year contract, or at least an assistant with a 2-year contract, it was a significant development. To think that they're 4-year contracts now is crazy. There's head coaches that didn't used to be on 4-year contracts.
You wonder, though, with acting coaches becoming coordinators now, if that is going to be a position that is much more wanted. Does that make any sense?
What do you say that now?
Well, I'm just talking about now you've got guys like Chip Kelly leaving UCLA to become the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. I'm just saying, is there a little more sizzle with that position now?
Yeah, but I mean, again, buyouts, head coaches' buyouts used to be significant. You start doing 4-year contracts for coordinators, and they got one crap year. That is a significant buyout for an assistant level coach.
$9 million each is what they're making over the 4-year period. So each making a little over 1 point something.
So
that's
not insane money for a coordinator anymore. But boy, if you want to fire him,
it's 18 million between two of them of money there on that contract. And then speaking of contracts, tomorrow starts the college football playoff committee, not the committee, the organizers, the people, the commissioners that run the college football playoffs. And the MAC commissioner, remember the MAC's got a seat at the table too. He lets it be known over the weekend that not only is the rumor of ESPN having the future television deal not true, that they have not even seen a draft of that. The other commissioners have not.
Well, I bet 2 have.
Yeah, that's my point is the rub that we're about to get as they get into the room together, where I think they have to have some universal, unanimous voting on some of this stuff. There's going to be some bad blood going into the room that this leaked out that ESPN had a 6-year, $7.8 billion deal ready to be approved by this committee that the MAC guy says, I haven't even seen a draft of this yet. That's not a true report. We have not agreed for this to be the deal.
And you won't.
That's right.
Like, I don't know why it matters. By the way,
you'll find out.
MAC might have a seat at the table. I guess 2003, Miami of Ohio, I think that was the year would have been there. I don't know another MAC team that ever would have gotten to a 12-team playoff. Guys?
But their point is they've got a voting and they get some financial things. And I've said this a couple of times now, and I'll say it again. The MAC and all these other leagues, they've got to be careful in this vote this week, because if they upset the SEC and the Big Ten, they'll be okay for 2 years because that contract's already in place. But 2 years from now, if the MAC and these Group of 5 programs don't get in line and approve the 5-7 and this TV contract this week, the way the SEC and the Big Ten wants it approved, very quickly you will see the Group of 5 access into this thing and the money they're getting from this cut out, and we'll see the split in the divisions. This is the week that the MAC and the other Group of 5 leagues have to say, do we want to continue to get a little gravy off of this trough, or do we want to try to act like we deserve a bigger voice at this table, which they don't? And if And if they get up there and they say that, the SEC and the Big Ten is going to force them out and a division in college football.
You know, there are a lot of people in the industry that were saying by the numbers that they were looking at and how quickly this deal was supposedly agreed to, that there was only one bidder, that ESPN was the only bidder. And see, that's the thing, something like the Mac guy may not take into account. Like, okay, yeah, we haven't even seen the draft, even though he's voted on. If you've only got one bid.
That's right. That's our deal.
Yeah, you're pretty well hamstrung there. If Fox is not bringing you a bid and NBC's not bringing you a bid and it's only ESPN, that, like you said, Jim, that's probably your deal right there. Right? Now, some of the small numbers may change, but that's going to be your deal, I'm afraid.
Yep. I don't think the MAC says a word. I mean, if I'm the MAC, I'm just drafting along. Whatever you guys want to do.
Okay.
That's right.
Do we still get our check?
Do we get a little bit of that gravy? Then absolutely. That's what we want. Bandwagon right now, I've told so many friends of mine who are in park ball right now and travel ball who they complain about access to good equipment. They get tired of going to these big box sports stores. I keep turning them on to Bandwagon. Great locations around, and it just is unbelievable customer service, including uniforms.
Yeah, they do a great job with the uniforms. I mean, it can be, start to finish for your teams right there at Bandwagon Sports. They do a great job with everything, and they're with you every step of the way. That's the important thing, from developing a team logo design to choosing from multiple samples that they have. You name the sport, they make it happen. Brand new store, just opening it up. Scott's showing you some video from one of their stores there. You can find out the one nearest you, bandwagonsports.com, bandwagonsports.com. One of the things I love is Scott shows you on the video, they have got team gear and the high-end brands. You don't have to sacrifice brand just to get some of your high school and local team gear. They've got the high-end brands that you like to wear, whether it's got the team gear name on it or not. So now you get the best of both worlds. Find out where the nearest Bandwagon Sports is to you by going online, bandwagonsports.com. Next round, it is time to jump on the bandwagon, bandwagonsports.com.
All right, life update. How's dry February going for you? For me, the no bread during Lent continues to be.
Do you make it, though?
Oh, still no bread, but it drives me crazy. For instance, by the way, we're really well listened to and liked at the Outback in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, yeah?
I swung by there real quick to grab a late lunch after the Alabama game. Doug, the bartender, and I had our picture taken together. As soon as I walked in, there's Doug. He was like, "I cannot believe you're sitting at the bar." And
hello, Doug.
Well, I hope
Doug listens to the show.
I hope they run a tighter ship than 280.
Yeah, they do.
Okay,
much better.
Why could he not believe you're sitting at the bar? Just that you were there.
He said, "I was just listening to on my drive in. I was just listening to Friday's show as I was driving in to set up the bar this morning, and here you walk in." And he says, "Is Brown or LT joining you?" I said, "They are not. Brown's in Mobile, and LT is probably at his fire pit." And Doug, very nice, loves the show there, and I sat down and ordered salad, and a little ribeye, and a little sweet potato. And he says, "You want bread?" And I said,
"Oh, yes, you do."
If you were listening to Friday's show,
yes, you do.
I want it, but don't bring it out.
What were you
I
drinking?
Can't eat it. I was drinking Diet Coke.
See, I wonder how bartenders feel about you sitting at a bar and not drinking.
Well, they get the tip on the food.
Yeah,
I know.
At 2:30 in the afternoon,
nobody's there.
Yeah.
So what does it matter?
There was a wait for tables. There was nobody at the bar.
Oh yeah,
I did think about you because I don't know what would be more difficult for me. I mean, the alcohol has been difficult, but we're February 19th. I've got a week from Friday. I can get back after it. So
I thought you were considering you're quitting.
Yeah, forever.
No, I said it's on the table.
Yeah, well, that's considered.
Is it off the table?
I'm not saying that. I mean, at this point right now, I am looking forward to March 1st to have some cocktails.
So I'd say it is off the table at this point.
Well, I mean, no. I mean, I think everything's on the table. The thing is, I'm sleeping better, but I don't feel any better. I haven't lost any weight.
Well, do you feel like people are tempting you with alcohol? Because I show up at the Alabama-Texas A&M game, which is an 11 a.m. tip, and the media meal, as soon as I walked in, not even anything. Remember last week at the Auburn game, it was Chick-fil-A sandwiches, and I was able to take the bread off and eat the sandwich, just the meat part. Well, the media meal, when I show up, it's a breakfast tip, so what do they have? French toast.
Oh, heck yeah. I love French toast.
I know. I do too. Couldn't have any. Because that's nothing but bread. There's nothing you can even peel off of that and just eat. It was just French toast.
I know. You eat the syrup.
I walked in and I was like, what are we doing? French toast?
I will say this. I have been out to eat once in 2 weeks. Like
That's crazy. You used to go out to eat all the time.
No,
because
you're
so
tempted by drinking when you go out?
Well, it's just more fun to have a cocktail with wherever you are. So I've kind of got my routine dialed in now. And so 13 or 14 days, I probably didn't eat out 6 months, would have been 13 days.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so I am saving some money, but again, I'm not I don't feel any better.
You couldn't eat this either. But we went to a place in Fairhope over the weekend we've been to before called the Hope Farm.
Oh, I've been there.
Have you been to the Hope Farm?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yes. Great restaurants in Fairhope.
Oh, Fairhope's a terrific place. The Hope Farm in Fairhope. And
I think that's your top-rated restaurant in town.
I believe so, yeah. And they had a thing called fried French toast, and it was a piece of hummingbird cake. I don't know if you ever had hummingbird cake. And they do the French toast treatment to it.
Chopped up hummingbird in it?
Yeah. It's tough to catch them. But boy, they're a delicacy.
You get a luck. You get a luck if you get the beat.
Yeah. And it's it's a piece about that big, and it's fried, and they had some sort of
Is this dessert, appetizer?
No, this was a appetizer. It was phenomenal. We destroyed it.
Hey, so I went to grocery store to pick up pasta because Jack was coming over President's Day, didn't have to go to school today. And so we were going to do this pasta feast, and I was excited about it. But when I got to the place that I went to pick it up, they've got a Sunday special. Get this, you get 6 corn muffins, you get a full rotisserie chicken, and you get 2 sides for $15.99.
That's a heck of a deal.
Where was this?
I don't want to give them a I don't want to give them a shout. I'll tell you guys a break, but I think that's going to be my Sunday go-to. And the rotisserie chicken was ridiculous.
Well, that's really good.
But I thought about you with the corn muffins.
I cooked. I love corn muffins. I cooked 2 eggs and some bacon, and I like my eggs a little runny when I fry them because I like to have my toast and sop up that yellow stuff as I'm eating. And I didn't have my toast.
I was going to ask, where are you? I had my first ever $4 ice cream sandwich last night.
Wow.
And
it's a historical moment for all of us. I don't know what that means.
I didn't either. I was going to grab some of that Jenny's salty caramel, and they had these exotic ice cream bars.
Exotic? What makes it exotic?
Well, mine was some kind of churro was the flavor I got for mine.
Yeah.
And then I got Jack a dark chocolate. But can you eat an ice cream sandwich? Because
that's kind of
not really.
The sandwich part's bread.
Yeah.
Is it bread though?
Yeah,
I mean, it's more cookie, but I'm off on the cookies too right now.
I will tell you, and I will tell you guys need to pick one of these up too. Same place.
Yeah,
I wouldn't throw that in the bread category though.
And so you could eat an ice cream sandwich, even though it's a sandwich.
Oh, so freaking good.
Yeah, that's not in the bread category. I took the croutons off my salad.
There you go. It's bread.
I thought that was bread.
That's right.
So how much longer you got?
Just 30 some days.
Hey, so
whenever Easter.
When I was driving to Mobile Saturday, a friend of mine, or Friday, a mutual friend of ours called, and his son was playing in the Northeast Regional over at Jack State, and he's like, "Hey, after the game, I got to go get something to eat. Tell me a great place to eat."
Pizza.
I told him he was asking. He said, "What's the pizza place y'all always talk about?" I said, "Modest Pizza." I said, "But that's in Anniston. If you're going to be in Jacksonville," I said, "I got a good burger joint for you, the Rocket." And he goes, "Gave up meat for Lent."
Yeah. Meat.
Woo!
He gave up meat.
That's what he said. I gave up meat for Lent.
Meat would be so much easier than bread.
You're out of your mind.
I mean, you could do the cheese pizza. The
I mean, I was at Slice Friday night and 4-cheese pizza.
Yeah.
I mean, cheese quesadillas. I eat them all the time.
No meat, no milk.
Oh, I can make it. I can make it. I've got a great vegetarian chili. I do use the ground beef almost 100% now, but I can still go back to it.
Our friends at Dr. B, who changed LT's hair and doing so much great work in the area, Dr. B brings us this part of the show as we move to the 11 o'clock hour.
My hair has more than doubled in thickness since I first went to see Dr. Beckenstein. That was the name when I asked around and said it was thinning out. Everybody said, Dr. B's the guy you need to go see. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. Hair has more than doubled in thickness. For more information, call. Schedule the consultation, 205-319-0316, T3hair.net. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316. Tell him the next round sent you. For more information, T3hair.net.
All right, we kick off the 11 o'clock hour brought to you by Champy's Chicken right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. When we come back, we'll talk some college football win totals not in the SEC. Some interesting stuff here and a lot more. Stay with us right here on TNR.
Follow John Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at LegacyCreditUnion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
When on YouTube, you constantly hear requests to please like and subscribe. Well, here at Disrupt Media, we aren't going to play that game. Those demands are frankly outdated. So we just want you to hit like or subscribe. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Pick a path, hit like, or hit subscribe. It's your call. We don't care which, just pick one. Or go to Roll Tide Pods and do it. Or War Damn Pods. Or the Disrupt Media YouTube channel. Or The Meltdown. Just make a decision and stick with it. Like or subscribe, the choice is yours.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th Annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Good news on Jalen Williams. If you're an Auburn fan, a non-season ending knee injury, some surgery, but they expect him back before the tournaments, which is important. UK ends Auburn's home win streak at 16 games, 70-59 over the weekend. Auburn has the week off before they go to Georgia. In fact, Emily Grace McWhorter down at the Birmingham Tip-Off Club as we speak, talking with Bruce Pearl today, who's in town with his bye week. The only SEC team, or at least the only SEC contender that has a bye week followed by a road game, not a bye week with a home game. Bama had that bye week with a home game with Texas A&M. They won it 100-75. They're still atop the SEC. One reason is an improving defense. Here's Nate Oates.
You know what? They're a hard one because you could be really good at a lot of things on defense and still not be great because you give up so many old boards. So we were definitely improved, not to the level I'd like to see us. We are. Analytics had us at a 1.04, 75 points on 72 possessions. So not where we needed to be, but, we were able to beat a pretty good team by 25. So, I thought Sears was better. I think his effort, he won the blue collar and won the hard hat. I thought his effort was a lot better. There's lots of things we still need to get better at. We're going to keep working at it. I think it was good that we played A&M before Florida because Florida's another good offensive rebounding team. And so we're going to have to be really good on the glass. But we were better, nowhere close to where I'd like to see us, but trending in the right direction.
That Florida game is coming up Wednesday over at Coleman, 6 o'clock for that contest. They don't have to get great at defense, Brown. They just have to keep improving a little bit at a time.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much stock you put in that KenPom stat. Are you talking about winning a national championship?
I'm talking about winning the SEC first.
Oh, winning the SEC. Yeah, I don't have KenPom stats on that one. I mean, again, I think March 2nd, I think the winner of that game wins the SEC.
Well, look, the secret number is 40% behind the arc. They were 44% this week. They're now 13-2. So back to your point to Brown, is you don't have to play great defense if you're hitting those perimeter shots.
Yeah. I mean, it
helps.
I don't think you can do that. The problem with that formula is, a 6-game NCAA tournament to win a national championship, you cannot do that, I don't think. I don't think any team can do that, is play, 70-ish ranked defense and just hit a ton of threes. You're going to go cold at some point in a 6-game stretch. Nobody's going to stay that hot. Play game, take day off, play game, take 3 or 4 or 5 days off, play game, take day. It's just hard to stay in any sort of rhythm.
I agree.
All the travel, different venues and things like that.
But back to 3 different guys hitting 4 or more threes on Saturday, you've got so many different guys that can hit that perimeter shot.
Brown, can you check social media and see?
I got it.
There is something that's happened with a jet dryer at Daytona, Pritch Law says. I don't know if it's another...
be a fake tweet.
It could be, or a fake post in our chat. Just see if something is. Remember that one? Who was the driver? Montoya.
It was Juan Pablo Montoya. We were at Fleming's watching. I'll never forget.
When he drove into.
Yeah, he smoked it.
Yeah,
that was.
And all we did is watch. I mean, look, man's always been mesmerized by flame, but we sat at the bar and just watched that on fire. Yeah. It was a Monday night because remember the race had got pushed from Sunday to Monday.
And I'll never forget, we were just like, is the jet dryer on fire? They just kept showing the replay over and over.
Did somebody just run into it?
Yeah.
But they're drying the track. The first race today will be at 3 o'clock. Scheduled start for the Daytona 500. Pritch Law sending that to us, and Troy is saying it's probably not real.
Yeah, I can't find anything, but I'll keep looking.
Pritch Law says Dale Jr. tweeted about it if you want to check that out. Could be something simple as it's not working, which is going to call. Oh, here we go. Well, this happens down there. You got to keep up a certain amount of speed to keep that thing up high.
Yeah,
and it appears something has happened to a jet dryer in turn 1. Not sure it's a fire or a fuel leak.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of liquid obviously coming out from underneath the truck. As they try to dry the track, they're adding liquid to the track.
Yeah, and there's fire trucks standing by. So just scary scene when you've got fuel on the track there.
Yeah,
so they're taking care of that.
They've cleared them off, but they are now having to treat the fuel spill that's there. And the race doesn't begin until 3 o'clock. They got a little while.
Yeah, well, quickest way to dry the track, put that fuel everywhere and light it on fire.
That's right.
I don't know what he does to asphalt at that point. May have a few bumps out there.
If they run it with fire on the track, I'll watch.
Yeah. There was a Hot Wheel that I got when I was a kid one time, and they would make the commercial when you were a kid look like the Hot Wheel was going on a jump through fire.
Through a fire ring, yeah.
And then when you got it, the fire was paper.
Yeah.
It was paper flames, and it went through the paper flames.
Not until you set the paper on fire, was it?
It did not look as... it was not as much fun as it looked in the commercials.
As I have told Maddie about my adolescent days, she said that you were a menace, is what she calls me.
Yeah, that's a good description.
Me and Shane got a hold of a Tonka dump truck, and they were billed as invincible. I don't know if you guys remember this. There was a commercial with an elephant's foot on.
Absolutely.
So me and Shane took bats and hammers and lighter fluid, and we got it done. We melted that thing down.
Melted it down? Out of metal, though. It was made of metal. The old Tonka trucks used to be real metal.
No. So wheels, the what is it called? The
dump.
What is it called, though?
The dump part?
God,
the tump part?
So soft. Yeah. Whoa. Anyway, that part melted.
Yeah.
The wheels melted. We just had a frame, but we beat the hell out of that thing.
Yeah. Win totals in college football and 4 downs in this segment brought to you in part by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and his crew right now cooking up some great chicken for lunch and take home or go to dinner, however you want to do it. It's all right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. And also our friends at Hemp Hill, who's great for all your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs.
Yeah, trusted name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
I'm right about this. At one point, Alabama's win total 1 year under Sabin. At 1 year, there was 11.5.
I think that is correct, yeah.
There was a one win total.
Yeah, there was 11.5,
Yeah, Georgia's still 11.5.
No, 10.5 this year, according to FanDuel. 10.5.
Oh, I thought it was 11.5.
Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, all 10.5. There you see the SEC win totals. And then there's 4 teams at 9.5. Alabama, LSU, Missouri, and Ole Miss. I've got some other 9 and 5s from FanDuel outside of the SEC, but keep those in mind. Georgia, Texas, Alabama, LSU, Missouri, and Ole Miss, all 9 and 5 and better. And see if you put these teams in that category.
By the way, I think I would play all unders just based on schedules this year in the SEC.
Including Georgia?
I think of those 6, I think worst case you go 3-3.
Okay.
I think you've got a better chance of playing all unders and getting a profit than all overs.
Yes, I would agree with that.
I see what you're saying. Utah, 9.5.
I mean, how healthy is Cam Rising and how good's he going to be? I mean, we haven't seen him in forever, and it kind of reminds me, as much as experience as he's got, with the time Deshaun Watson took off. And Watson is like hit or miss now that he's back, and I just wonder how consistent Cam Rising can be.
And keep in mind, they're in the Big 12. I don't think they'll play as many ranked, really good teams as they would have played last year.
No, and they're out of conference. Their big out of conference game is Baylor, so it's not like a huge out of conference schedule for them.
Is that out of conference now?
No, that's right. That is in conference. Who is their out of conference game? Southern Utah, Utah State.
Well, they played 9 games.
Yeah.
They may be one of those that is. There are some Big 12 teams that are playing Big 12 opponents, but not counting as a Big 12 game. They are playing 9 conference games, but some, because of existing contracts between the Pac-12 and the Big 12, are playing a conference team, but it's not counting as a conference.
Yeah, did they not have Washington State or Oregon State on that schedule?
6, 7, 8, 9. I count 10 Big 12 games, so I do think Baylor might be an out of conference.
Yeah, so that'll be one of those Big 12 opponents that is not counting as a Big 12 game. Kansas State, 9.5.
I feel pretty good about the.
I don't.
It's hard to gauge this Big 12.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 really good teams at the top.
Yeah, 9.5 is theirs, huh?
Yep.
And what do they have out of conference?
FanDuel.
They don't have Missouri this year.
They do not play Missouri. Out of conference, they play UT Martin, Tulane, and that is it.
Studio audience saying under on 9.5.
I don't know, man.
Are you under on Utah too? Over on Utah? Okay.
All these teams have a ton of Big 12 games. Like, I don't know how all of this is working, Jim.
Yeah, 9 of them are conference games, and some of them, the 10th game is counting as an out-of-conference game.
Yeah, so I don't know which of these is out of conference, but they also have 10 Big 12 opponents on the Kansas State schedule.
Clemson, 9.5.
I know they opened with Georgia, Lance, so you would feel pretty good about that being an L.
That's an L. And outside of that, where's the Florida State game?
They will play Florida State at Doak Campbell. Tough spot.
I think that's 2 losses for sure. I think I would play the under.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably an under as well.
Florida State's a 9.5.
That's surprising.
No Jordan Travis back, right? He's gone.
Yeah, he is gone. I still would have thought Florida State, based on an ACC schedule, would be higher than that. I'm trying to look at their out of conference.
Well, their out of conference is Georgia Tech. They play that game over in Ireland. They play Florida, as you mentioned. They play Notre Dame.
Georgia Tech's a conference.
Yeah, it's a conference game.
They play. They open against Georgia Tech. Is what I meant to say. I apologize. They play at Notre Dame, which is not a conference game. It's part of the ACC agreement, but not a conference game. They play Florida, Charleston Southern, and Cal.
Yeah, I would say right now, and I think Miami.
Stupid ACC.
Yeah, I think Miami.
What a terrible conference.
You know what this is like right now?
What?
This is like, because of all the changes in conferences and some teams playing 10 games and only counting 9. Remember when you dated that girl in college who wanted to learn to know sports, and you had to start explaining to them what a conference was and who was in what conference?
Good luck doing it now.
Yeah.
Because the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Is that where you like, I don't really want to learn how to cook, so let's stay in our lanes.
Yeah, like Big 8. Here's the Big 8. Well, it's got 10 teams. Why is it the Big 8?
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that.
Why is Cal in the Atlantic Coast Conference? I don't know.
Florida State, I'm going to say loss in South Bend. I'm going to say they lose to Miami, and then it comes down to a one-game situation. Can they hold serve on the rest?
Miami's 9.5.
I'd hammer the under on that.
This is going to be my last year. It was Jimbo Fisher. I was like, watch out for A&M this year. This is going to be my Miami with Cristobal this year.
Watch out for them.
Yeah, I think they're going to be really good this year.
Really good.
You think Miami's going to be really good?
I do.
Because of Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Michigan is 9.5. Only 9.5.
I would play the under there, I think. Again, I got to look at the schedule.
Did you see him yesterday in the Michigan State game where he was talking to Gus Johnson, Sharon Moore was, and Gus asked him about maybe that was Saturday, but whenever Michigan State played, Gus asked him about Ohio State's making some noise recruiting this offseason, and Sharon Moore said, we'll deal with that in November.
Oh, wow. That's big talk.
Man, they got a tough schedule.
They open against Fresno. Was Fresno in the Big Ten, Jim?
They are not.
Okay.
But they're not in the Big 12 either.
Yeah, I think we'll know by the end of September whether you're getting your over.
Yeah, Fresno, Texas, Arkansas State, USC, Minnesota is their September.
They're losing Texas or USC or both.
Or both. Penn State's a 9.5.
I'll play the under. It's James Franklin.
Do they play? We did look at their schedule the other day, and there are not going to be a ton of top 10, top 25 teams, which is what gets James Franklin every time.
But we feel like 10 wins, and if you're in the Big Ten and the SEC, 10 wins, you're in the playoffs.
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, so something to keep an eye on. FanDuel with the win totals there. 4 Downs brought to you by our friends at Slice every day. Great place for lunch or dinner is Slice.
You know, I had the opportunity to take the kids in on Friday night, and we got Hot Mama, got one of the 4 cheese. The Hot Mama, man, it's such a good flavor. It's almost a little too spicy for me. I don't know about you.
It's gotten a little hotter.
It has gotten hotter.
They're putting a little bit more of the Mike's Hot Honey on there.
Your daughter was there on Friday night. We got to talk to Harper, catch up a little bit there.
She tells me when Reed's family's by, she didn't tell me she bumped into you.
I told her not to.
Okay.
4 locations, the original in Lakeview, the one we were at on Friday night, Vestavia. There's one in Montevallo, Crestline Park, coming soon to Homewood. Local pizza, local ingredients. Get in and see the Bajaya brothers and tell them the guys from the Next Round sent you.
First down.
Oh, current job longer. Steve Sarkisian or Nate Oates?
Did you do this morning before?
Well, I did it early morning.
Early this morning before we talked about.
Who's their longest?
Yeah, current job. I mean, Oates is better coach.
I would agree with that.
But you're not really going to leave Texas for another job. You could leave Alabama definitely for another job.
I wouldn't say definitely, but
I mean, it would take a really good job to peel him away from Alabama, better than in the past.
Yeah, but it makes more sense in any circumstance to leave Alabama basketball for a premier job than to leave Texas football for a premier job. Because I think Texas is already a premier job.
Who was the last Alabama basketball coach that left without getting fired?
Oof.
Does it go back to CM? Well, how did he leave, Jim? CM Newton. Did he take another job?
He did. He went back to Vanderbilt, took the Vanderbilt job.
Because Wimp got fired.
Or did he leave to go to the SEC as commissioner or work in the SEC office?
Wimp got fired. David Hobbs got fired. Mark Gottfried got fired.
Yeah,
CM left.
I don't see Oates getting fired for anything on court. And Sark, I could see Sark still get fired. Now it's going to be hard with that $50 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
I'm going to say,
but I'll say Sark is there longer than Nate.
I think there's a longer leash for the basketball coach. So I'm going to say Nate is there longer than Sark. The way you guys talk, Sark can't find his ass with both hands as a coach. So I'm going to say Nate is going to do it.
He did abandon the run against Washington.
Second down.
Current job longer, Ryan Day or Bruce Pearl?
I think Ryan Day, because, I mean, Bruce is, what did we say last week, 64? 62? It would be 64 in March, I think is where we came up. I think Bruce coaches 2 more years and then flips it around and hands it over to Steven. And I think Ryan Day's there longer.
It's a tough spot for me here because I think there is a scenario in which Day, with everything they've invested in this group of players, if he doesn't win it all,
I mean, he's got to go to a playoff.
If he misses the playoffs this year, usually they get.
If he misses the playoffs, I mean, is there a chance he misses the playoffs, though? I mean, if he's one of the 4 best Big Ten teams, he's in the playoffs, probably.
Well, I mean, it's a tough place. I mean, if Chip Kelly wants to be the head coach there,
yeah,
they need to miss the playoffs. But if they miss the playoffs, you're not going to turn it over to Chip Kelly.
Negative. I will say Ryan. I'll say Bruce Pearl. I'm actually going to go against the trend. I think Pearl coached there quite a while.
If there was a Ryan Day Jr. waiting in the wings to take over at Ohio State.
I'm going to take Ryan Day just because I think this is his year. Whether or not he wins it, I think he goes deep in the playoff.
Third down.
Nikola Jokic, 29. Hard to believe the kid's only 29 years old. He's won multiple MVPs. He's won a championship. But if I asked you more championships ultimately, Jokic or Ryan Day?
I'll go Jokic.
I'll go Jokic as well.
I just, we got to see Denver finally win one. I just don't know if they win another one.
Parade. When is the parade?
The parade. Oh, parade.
The parade.
I'm going to go.
The parade. Do I have to go to that?
I just don't know. Ryan Day, if he wins one, is he going to win two?
I can't. I got to be back.
I got to go home.
I got to go home.
Yeah, I think I would play house money here with Jokic already having one because I think, having two for Ryan Day seems like a stretch.
I would agree.
Fourth down.
I think Rocky's got pictures here. Smokey Robinson, 84 years old.
Smokey's still with us, huh?
Yeah, Jerry Jones, 83. If I asked you who's had more work done, Smokey Robinson or Jerry Jones?
I think they've had enough work done where they look a little bit alike.
I'll tell you what, Smokey got the choppers done and Jerry did not. That's one thing.
Yeah. I mean, Jerry's been eating Butterfingers all day.
Yes. That is one thing.
Smokey, his eyes don't look real. They look like almost cat's eyes. Every time I've seen the guy, it's a weird, greenish yellow.
Like if I showed you that Smokey Robinson
picture. He did have an eyeball transplant.
If I showed
I'm just saying, he doesn't look real.
If I showed you the Smokey Robinson picture and said, you don't know who that is, I said, how old is this guy? What would you say?
I'd say he's 77.
Oh,
I would say... When did they put his wax figure into the museum?
Looks like a wax figure. I would have said he's the Lost Gumbel brother.
Yeah.
We'll take you to Chicago.
Yeah, the one Gumbel that didn't make it on TV. He's the Cooper Manning of the Gumbel family.
Who makes it on Earth longer between these two?
I didn't know Smokey was still with us, so I'll go Smokey.
Aren't both these guys the same age as the people that will be deciding who's president this year? I was
going to say they are the presidential candidate.
I mean, nothing makes me feel younger
than watching a presidential debate.
The two people that are about to run for president and this 4-down question.
No, but you know what?
If I got two more decades than me.
But watching these two interviewed recently, they are much more with it than our presidential candidates.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I have not seen Smokey recently, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, having seen the two candidates. Yeah. Did you see Jon Stewart? I don't know if you guys saw that monologue for his first show back. I mean, that was so good. I mean, he just destroys President Biden and President Trump, just destroys them. And then he says, whoever wins this will be the oldest president of our time, breaking their own record 4 years ago.
Yes. Absolutely. That's our 4 downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, get a slice and a salad today at one of those 4 great locations, from the Hot Mama, the Soul Pie, the Old School. You're going to absolutely love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
We have trash when we come back. By the way, for those of you waiting on the college sports, EA Sports college football game, apparently there will be some FCS teams you'll be able to play in that, because Gardner-Webb, Eastern Washington, and Portland State have all said they're in the game.
Does he play on red turf?
I would tell you that if Gardner-Webb is in the game, I expect to be able to play Samford at that point then, right? If Gardner-Webb is in the game, or Eastern Washington, or Portland State, then I expect to be able to play a little Samford if Gardner-Webb is in there. That's a weird one to be in. But some FCS teams confirming they're in the college sports video game when it comes out in May or June. Iowa State and Houston, the big game tonight in basketball, 8 o'clock on ESPN. We'll talk trash when we come back right here on TNR.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Visit nextroundlive.com today. It's free, unless you haven't paid your internet bill. So go ahead and pay that, and then it's free. Heck, you can pull out your phone and go to nextroundlive.com right now, where you'll find all the free content that you can stomach, unless you haven't paid your phone bill. Then you need to pay that, and then you can enjoy all the free content. NextRoundLive.com is so rewarding that it should be behind a paywall, like Lance's Lock. So in summary, play Lance's Lock. Then you'll have enough money to pay your bills, and go to NextRoundLive.com, where you're always at your happiest, for free.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Maybe you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or TikTok. While we're changing the game yet again, Tyler's Telegrams has been developed exclusively for you.
Hi, this is the lovable boy you know as Tyler the Intern. I'm a businessman now. I will come directly to your door and tell you every time a new piece of TNR content drops. For the low, low price of $740,000, you can be notified by me, one of the biggest stars of The Next Round, about that thing you missed. Sure, the rest of those social media services are free, but so is radio, and we all know how well that's trending.
Tyler's Telegrams is currently operating exclusively in Bibb County. Other social media platforms are available everywhere.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Back with you on The Next Round. Before we get to trash, LT is going to tell you again about the Rump Shaker event that's coming up that is so important to all of us up here.
Yeah, did you know that colon cancer, second leading cause of cancer deaths in America, it affects women and men equally. If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, visit rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 16th Annual Rump Shaker 5K is coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. To get registered and for more information, rumpshakerinc.org.
Our old buddy Jay Barker's daughter, Sarah Ashley Barker, with 26 yesterday as Alabama's women beat Auburn 67-61. Third straight 20-win season for Alabama's women. She has been a stud all season over there. Stanford signs a Japanese high school baseball player. We'll see if he ends up playing for Stanford or if he got one more year of high school over in Japan. He is 17-year-old and 250-pound Rintaro Sasaki. He's going to play with Stanford unless a big league club signs him at the end of this year. He already has 140 home runs in high school.
Wow.
With one more high school year to go.
Yeah, I've never really heard about Japan's high school baseball. I wonder how good it is.
Yeah, but I would think if they're any good, they're straight to the majors, right?
That even here.
From Japan.
Yeah, but even here, if you're 17-year-old, 250, and you've got 140 jacks in high school here, there's a chance you're on somebody's radar.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with you, Brian. I don't know what the rules are over there, but you would seem that he would, easier to play in Japan than it is in the majors. So you would think he'd have a spot.
Yeah, it would be weird to see him go play college ball. That would seem like option number 3 for him.
Sunken diamond if he does, though. Over at Stanford. Hideki Matsuyama shoots a 62 yesterday, wins the Genesis out at Riviera. He's got a green jacket, so
that's correct.
If he's hot this time of year, he'll be a favorite pick when they get to Augusta.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Guy wins on tough courses. He knows how to play really difficult courses well. just kind of what he does.
Yeah, all 9 of his wins have been on tough, difficult field courses.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part. I mean, there's going to be an exception to that rule, or one or two, but he just plays tough courses well.
Tiger left in an ambulance.
He got the flu.
Is that what it was, the flu?
Yeah, a lot of people thought it was food poisoning. It was kind of funny because In-N-Out, they're in L.A., and In-N-Out had a setup there because it's Tiger's tournament, so he invited In-N-Out to have a setup, and then he, for social media, he's eating their food, and then he has to withdraw.
Yeah,
and everybody's like, "Uh-oh, it's food poisoning," but they say it's the flu. And Jordan Spieth Lance will love this. He got disqualified for signing an incorrect scorecard.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. How does that happen? Like,
So
do you and your caddy not confirm at the end of each hole?
Your opponent keeps your card for one thing, so you'd be keeping my card, right?
But
he writes the score down. Now you should
keep your own card,
keep your own score, and then match it up.
That's
and he
usually
just missed
what
one.
they do when they do this, right?
Yeah.
They're like,
doing
that.
And he just missed one and signed for an incorrect number.
Doesn't seem like it should be disqualification.
Yeah, it's almost like you cost him a stroke.
Yeah, in fact, don't they have an official score that's walking
They
with
do,
them?
yes.
Well, why don't they just keep the score?
Yeah,
I'm busy figuring out what I'm going to shoot.
A lot of people ask that question. It's
Yeah.
the way it's always been done. It's just one of
Golf's
those.
got some dumb rules.
It's one of those we've always done it this way.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
it's really honest to goodness. It's not that hard. You keep your own score. You really shouldn't make the mistake.
Can you imagine if you had the NBA, they had to keep their own score?
What are we, 88?
Yeah.
I hit a 3 back there.
I mean, it's second quarter, they'd be like,
I don't even know if
I don't even want to keep your score, though. That's
I know.
the problem. I don't want to have to keep up with yours. I can keep my own. I don't want to keep up with yours.
And you don't get this a ton on tour, but it creates the awkward moment if a guy just has a disaster hole. You got to go to him and say,
"Hey, what'd you get?
Was that an 11?
What would you get there? I really lost count.
Should I write you down for an 8?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know. I could not count.
That's the way it is with me and my buddies. What was that? You're going to take a triple? Is that what you're going to take? Yeah, I'll take a triple. I hit 3 balls into the water. Give me the triple. That's what usually where I go.
Sure, I'll take triple. Yes.
Yeah. By the way, I hit a 105 on Friday, Brown.
That's pretty good, man.
105?
105. It was wet on the ridge over there.
Uh-huh.
I was chunky. I was driving great. My second shots were not good.
Were you playing solo?
I was not. I had my buddies out there. We were.
So you lost the money, huh?
We were rolling around. I lost the most I've ever lost in one round of golf. To everybody. I paid everybody.
So what do you snack on the golf course if you can't have bread?
On the golf course, I was drinking water and eating
because crackers are a good go-to, right?
Beef sticks.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. High protein.
Our man Jim has at New York Butcher Shop's got some incredible beef sticks.
Oh, he makes his own?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Hey, Scott asked an important question in the chat room. When you went to the Bama game and you tossed out the bread and only ate the chicken from the Chick-fil-A sandwich, that's breaded. You ate bread there.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, maybe I did. You guys, I don't know. We do ours in cornmeal. I don't know how you guys deep fry stuff. Flour, that's not bread. It's flour. Okay. I don't know how you guys, it's technically called breading, but it's not bread. It's flour.
All right.
But however you want to do it.
I don't really care.
I don't care.
It's between you and God.
Yeah.
I mean, if God approved of you.
Everybody had gone to bed Friday night, and I stayed up to watch one more movie at like 1 a.m.
Don't say you snuck a drink.
No, I was thinking to myself, you know what? I could sit here and drink bourbon all night and nobody would know, but that defeats what I want to do.
When you wake up and your tidy-whities laid out on the couch with empty bourbon bottles beside you, they'd probably walk down and say, oh, LT fell off the wagon.
I'm just saying, if I just wanted to sip a couple to myself, but it would defeat the whole purpose.
All right, it's time for trash, though, and it's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Hit it, Rockstar.
Get your ass out of here. If you got license, you sold it.
I mean, I just want to fish, ma'am.
Oh, no, hell, you can't fish. You don't know how to fish. You don't even wear the right kind of clothes. You got damn stupid shoes on anyway. Where'd you get them ugly britches? You asshole.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
All I can think of is wimp every time you play that.
Oh, so angry.
You got stupid shoes on anyway. That sounds like a wimp line.
Hey, are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. As a veteran-owned, operated company, they understand the difference between working with someone who gets it and someone who doesn't. They've made it their mission to simplify the VA loan process. Visit their location right there, Highway 280 in Birmingham. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239. Equal housing lender. So I saw this list of species that are going to be extinct in like the next 15 or 20 years, like the rhino, all tigers, the hyena. I mean, it's hard to believe.
Wait,
the panda.
Say what now?
Yeah, all of these species are going to be extinct like the next 15 or 20 years.
The rhino?
That's not true.
How many are we down to?
Not a true statement.
Where did you get it? What is your
not
source?
making it
There's
up?
specific rhinos that are
so it's not the
endangered.
overall rhino. It's
No,
maybe like the
there's
black rhino or something.
No,
white
like the
rhino.
panda bear, all hyenas, all tigers.
All tigers. Not
Yeah.
true. Not true.
Jim,
I mean, why would I just make this
well,
up?
I'm with Jim. I think, where is the source on this? There's zero chance that
I ran across an article the other night. I don't know why I would make this up.
I'm not saying you made it up, but I am saying the article could be wrong.
Yeah, the article you were reading is propaganda.
You really think there's
you
gonna
understand
be...
we've got a lot of species that are extinct.
Yeah, but in 15 years, you think we're not going to have a single tiger on this planet? You can't think that.
Well, I mean, it's the way it's been pushing.
I mean,
the numbers continue to dwindle.
Well, yeah, but they're not going to get to zero.
Well, I mean, they're going to get to zero one day. I mean, I don't know what it might have been 2037. I forgot, but I'm just saying, in our lifetime, we should see the last of
the tigers,
said rhino, tigers, hyenas.
No, I don't think so. Nope. I'm with Jim on this one.
With that said, it looks like the woolly mammoth might be coming back.
I mean, you're making it out like Sark's in charge of the tigers now.
No.
Sark's going to kill off the tigers.
We wouldn't have any zoos if Sark was in charge.
Very average zoos. This is a super average zoo.
Yeah, we'd have like
8-win
Wow, we're
zoo.
to the feral cat section here.
Many bioscience corporations have held the lofty ambition of reviving long extinct species such as the woolly mammoth, using DNA sequences found in preserved fossils to breed the creatures back into reality. And now it looks like it's going to happen. So this is almost Jurassic Park-like, literally. Colossal Biosciences claims it has cracked the code, plans to birth the first calves of its kind by 2028. The company, they've expressed interest in breeding extinct creatures such as the dodo bird or the Tasmanian tiger. Woolly mammoths are said to have gone extinct over 4,000 years ago when mankind was constructing the Great Pyramids.
Tony just texted in and said, was that the Alabama mascot when Wimp was the coach?
We are destroying that.
Boy, that woolly mammoth looks
so good.
Itchy.
It does.
They had to smell.
Here's the thing. You're extinct for a reason. You bring it back, much like Jurassic Park, probably going to have bad ramifications.
So. I don't think they can do that, really. I think that also is BS.
So, okay. Rockstar, BS again.
We were right. Rockstar, the other day, we were on 280, and my 10-year-old brought this story up. Apparently, they talked about it at school. And I was saying, could you imagine just driving down 280 and a woolly mammoth comes storming out of the woods and runs across 280?
No, we'll get those signs like deer crossings.
Woolly mammoth crossing.
Woolly mammoth crossing.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't feed them, I mean, if they start starving like the deer, I don't know about you guys, I see 3 or 4 deer a night if I leave the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
We were doing
Sad.
that show coming back from Auburn last Wednesday, Taylor and I, and somebody in the chat said, be careful of driving while you're doing the show with the deers. There's so many deer between Auburn and the drive back on 280. And we had not seen any to that point. And once that person put in their tweet, it was like, there's 3, there's 2, there's 3. And they were in clumps of them, too.
Yeah.
We're not running out of deer anytime
Well,
soon.
and that's sad. I mean, they're all starving. I mean, that's what's going on. When they're creeping into neighborhoods, getting, that daring.
Well, that's why, it's legal to hunt deer, is because we got to keep that population low or they'll starve to death.
So this next one more unbelievable to me than the woolly mammoth coming back, and that is Taco Bell has revealed some new menu items this year. They're rolling out crispy chicken nuggets.
Taco Bell is, huh? Yeah, I can't get chicken nuggets anywhere, so I'm glad Taco Bell.
I don't really get this. Yeah. Taco Bell's take on chicken nuggets, a little bit different. It's going to be all white meat, chicken marinated and spiced jalapeno buttermilk.
What's different about that? Doesn't everybody do that?
Breaded in a tortilla coating, then deep fried until crispy for dipping. They're going to have 2 sauces, the Bell sauce made with tomatoes, red chilies, onion, and garlic, and the jalapeno honey mustard featuring honey mustard with a spicy kick of jalapeno.
That sounds good. That sauce does. Brown, you've never had a McNugget if you think all places use white meat.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't think it necessarily sets you apart from everyone if you say we do all white meat nuggets.
Yeah, I've
say, had a McNugget, yes.
I would say a McNugget is a coin flip on whether it's all chicken or not.
I don't know if this next item is going to be good. I bet it looks good, though. The Cheesy Street Chalupa.
Didn't have a picture of this one.
Okay, tested last year. These feature a cheesy flatbread with a small tortilla, stuffed with a blend of mozzarella and pepper jack cheeses, fried together. The result shell is then filled with a choice of slow roasted chicken or grilled marinated steak, a flavorful sauce, diced onions, and cilantro.
Sounds pretty good.
Isn't that just a quesadilla?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a Mexican restaurant? Isn't that just cheese, rice, and lettuce? And
they just basically, it's the same meal.
It's the same thing.
They just rename
Jim
it.
Gaffigan did a whole bit. It's the same thing.
No, he's right. Gaffigan is right about that. It's just whether or not you get it in a taco shell, a burrito wrap, or a quesadilla.
The Mountain Dew Baja Blast Gelato Now, for the 20th year anniversary of the Mountain Dew Baja Blast, hard to believe it's been there 20 years, it's a creamy gelato infused with signature tropical lime flavor of Baja Blast. No picture of that one?
Only other picture I have is the crunchy wrap, the last thing.
Are they still doing the Mexican pizza?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
How many have you had since you guys got so upset that they took it away and brought it back?
4-ish, but I haven't been in a minute. That's why I asked if it was still on.
The cheesy enchilada dipping taco, a twist on last year's grilled cheese dipping taco that features slow roasted chicken, a layer of enchilada dipping sauce. The Dulce de Leche Cinnabon Delights.
Dulce de Leche.
Dulce de Leche.
Dulce de Leche, yeah. Basically, it's just that filling of Cinnabon Delights. And finally, this is the one
right there
that everybody's hyped about, the Cheez-It Crunch Wrap. The Cheez-It Crunch Wrap is like a regular Crunch Wrap Supreme, but instead of the tostado shell, it's replaced by a giant Cheez-It cracker that is 16 times the size of a normal.
Yeah.
I think the Cheez-It's a little overrated.
Yeah, but a big Cheez-It is really
Not when you're hungry and that's all there is to eat.
Oh, yeah.
You eat the crap out of those things.
Yeah, coming in from the beach and that's the only snack cracker around, it's really good.
Or just on the beach when you're drinking beer in that hot sun.
You ever get
there's nothing to eat and you reach in your wife's bag and all she's got is a packet of Cheez-It?
You ever get the white cheddar grooves? Cheez-Its?
Yeah.
Those are good.
The white cheddar stays on my fingers.
Cheez-It got out there and did like a million different flavors.
Oh, yeah, they did. I like that white cheddar grooves, though. That's a good flavor by them.
I like the, what was it? Maybe it was just the white cheddar.
Yeah.
That picture right there, Rockstar, is like, you just lay that tortilla down, stack a bunch of crap in it, and then fold it up. Whatever it looks like, we're going to call it this.
But now,
This is Taco Bell.
Look compared to the fire packet of the cheese. That's a pretty small, piece of food there, if you look at it in comparison.
So a Spanish woman sparked a little controversy after claiming that dripping urine into her eyes cured her myopia and the astigmatism. Now, urine therapy is a form of alternative medicine popularized in the early 20th centuries. Advocates of this unusual form of therapy promote the application of human urine for medicinal or cosmetic purposes, including massaging one's skins or gums with one's urine and even drinking it.
Who's your doctor, Moises Alou?
But I can't imagine just the fact that I wonder.
Now, this
you never know till you try.
Metaphysical counselor, Suama Freo, claims that urine is also much better at treating eye problems than the chemical-infused medicine prescribed by most doctors.
I got to tell you, Lance, I've got astigmatism in my eyes.
You let Dunaway piss in your eyes?
And I've got to go to the bathroom. Or do I have a combination for you?
If I 100% knew Dunaway's urine was going to cure it, I would just live with it. Like, there's nothing.
Would you let him pee directly into your eye?
There's nothing. It could be my urine. I'm not putting any urine in my eye for anything.
First, I'll need you to lay down.
Not a chance.
And I'll need a chair in here. I'll need a chair.
Are you a pretty good shot? Like, you can write your name in the snow, right? Or on the side of the wall?
I could back in the day, but as I've gotten older, it's more of a, it's not as...
A lot of ellipses, a lot of dots.
Yeah. It's more bold, not as fine print as it used to be.
I mean, Dunaway's piss. I'd go blind. I'd be Helen Keller. I'd go blind, deaf, and dumb.
Okay, so here are 7 questions that people wonder, why hasn't this been solved yet? The first one, the extremely poor quality of a fast food drive-through speaker.
Sir, what kind of would you like to try?
It really is.
No.
Now, as I read these aloud yesterday, somebody said that Starbucks has got a good speaker system. I don't know.
I don't understand how it's that hard, really.
It's really not the speaker itself. It is the microphone on the other end. As you know, if you don't know how to use a microphone.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, occasionally you get somebody, you can have some people using the same microphone setup and it sounds fine, and others are talking too loud and they're talking really close to the microphone and it doesn't work.
Here's another question that is yet to be solved. Those stickers on products that leave sticker residue when you pull them off.
Yeah, I don't like that.
This one makes no sense at all. Cereal bags not having a zipper closure.
It seems like it should be the like Ziploc badge.
Yes.
Bag
Like
should be at the top.
the pretzel factory. I get those a lot. Now, sometimes I'll tear a little too much and I'll kill
you'll kill the
seal,
Ziploc part, yeah.
But it should have that same seal.
Every single packaging these days has that resealable except for cereal.
Yeah, but I'm incapable of opening a cereal packet without it ripping down the side so
And
that
then
the
it's
cereal
bloated.
it's bloated and it spills out in the box.
I just use scissors every
Yeah,
time.
I need to start doing that. Yeah.
Here's another one. Why hasn't this been solved yet? Tags on the side seam of a shirt. If you try to pull the tag completely out, the seam rips. If you try to cut the tag off, you're still left with a little pokey in.
Yep.
Let's go completely completely tagless. The technology does exist.
We don't need tags on clothes anymore. We really don't.
But
I
who
think
thought to put them on the side?
it's a terrible place to put them. And I hate them in the neck, too. They bother me in the neck, but we don't need tags. We know.
Neck ones come out better than the side ones.
Who
Side
does-
ones do not come out.
So the tag tells you what the
size is, where it's from,
what it's
what's
made
in it,
of, and how to wash it.
Yeah, but you can put all that.
Yeah. And if you don't know how to wash clothes,
right,
you ain't reading a tag. And I don't really care what's it made of, right? Unless I got an allergy.
No, but you've got a good T-shirt and you got a bad T-shirt.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's all about the quality of the shirt.
Yep.
You can do that by feel, though.
Next round store, we've got really quality T-shirts.
That's right, high
and
end.
virtually tagless.
Okay, here's another. Why has this not been solved yet? A better way to type on TV remotes. If you've got
scroll. Scroll. Damn it.
So the only TVs I've got are Samsungs and LGs. I think LG's got the best picture, but the functionality of the remote is awful. Now that I've gone from DirecTV, where you don't have the DirecTV remote anymore, I've got just an LG remote. By the way, first world problem, but I had this surround sound that was put in on my system years ago. But now that I've gotten away from DirecTV, the apps on the smart TV, they don't go into the in-wall speakers.
Really?
Yes, I don't know what to do about that. So basically, I have a great sound system and no way to run.
You're having a technical issue?
Well, I mean, it would be anybody's.
I would tell you on a lot of these things, instead of you just...
If you can fix it, I'll buy you dinner anywhere.
I'll come look at it.
It'll give you a QR code
Yeah.
that says, use your phone to log in. You don't have to use the remote
Right,
to
right.
log in.
Or if you're Apple TV, it'll connect to your iPhone and you just punch it right in.
But it's not going to connect to my in-wall speakers.
No, I
The
was
surround
talking
sound I've
about
got.
having to use the remote to put in your password.
Anybody that can figure that out without costing me more money, dinner wherever you want to go.
If you instead of dinner, if I come fix it, will you take my punishment if I lose the bracket challenge?
If you can fix it today, yes.
So if I come fix it today,
By noon.
If I come fix it
If you
today,
fix it by 5 o'clock today,
then you will take my punishment. No matter
Whatever
what
it
we
is.
decide the punishment
Yep.
is, you'll take my bracket
because
challenge
you have
punishment.
zero chance of figuring this thing out.
Okay. I'm going to come look at it
Okay.
because I don't know if you guys have kept up with this. I've had a lot of bracket challenge punishments.
Yeah. But yeah, I will take it because there's no chance you can. Here's another question.
Don't I
Has it
get a
been
vote?
solved?
Don't we, should we all get a vote on that?
You're still here?
Nope.
Should we all get a vote on that?
Why is that? I'm
what?
taking. I mean, I'm taking
Lance
a
is taking
punishment.
it.
So all you
What's
got to
the
do
matter?
is beat me, basically.
I've got one of his testicles. What more do I need?
He's not going to be able to fix it anyway.
Yeah, that's what Lance says.
Here's another one. Why in the hell do I have to wait until Monday for a check to deposit in 2024?
It's crazy, isn't it? Like, do you, in the random instance, I get a paper check, and it's only like if I get a refund about something or whatever, and I scan it on my phone, it's like $100 available today, the other $400 available in 2 days. I'm like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I think we're in America. We can figure this out.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? Speaking of checks and stuff, I just got something in the mail that apparently Ally Bank, my old bank, had sent me a check in 2022 that I haven't cashed. I don't know where that check is. And I was just thinking over the weekend, I wanted to buy a new driver. The amount of that check and the cost of the driver, exactly the same thing.
Look at God do it.
Is that not amazing?
Dude, I mean, you must be. This is like Ty from Caddyshack. You don't have to cash your checks. They're just laying around.
I just assumed I'd cashed it.
Well, for some reason, there's something screwed up on my home escrow. They're taking too much out. So once a quarter, my mortgage holder sends me a check, a paper check. And I've tried to call them and say, just apply it to my home loan. Like, just pay it on my principal. You don't even have to send me the check. And then, no, sir, we've got to send you the check. I'm like, no, you really don't have to.
Rule. Yep.
Yeah, I'm begging you not to. Just apply it to my home loan. It's fine.
But like I'd stopped banking with Ally.
Yeah.
And so when it would show up, I wouldn't even read what it was saying. I was like, why are they still, I figured they were trying to get me back or whatever. Yeah. So since like August of 2022, they've been trying,
I'm shocked
Maggie opened one.
I'm shocked it's still cash because a lot of them on there say 180 days.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's a different check. It's a sheet of paper they're saying now. The last one says, if I don't act now, it will go to my state government. And then
unclaimed
money, and I would have to go there to get it.
Imagine
that's not a hard process either.
Yeah.
Oh, have you ever had some?
Oh yeah, and like it's like 16 forms of identification.
Yeah. Oh,
you have
really?
to write personal letters.
So now I don't want Kay Ivey to have it. So I did.
Why
answer.
not?
I called him. I called him yesterday.
I'm going to buy a pantsuit with it.
Yeah, like it's almost if you send it there, if you work there, you could talk them, like you tell your employer, if you talk them out of getting their money, it's such pain in the ass for them, we'll give you half of it. Yeah. And then we'll end up keeping half. Final question, hard taco shell packaging, it should read 12 shells. 9 after you actually open them.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
3 are broken.
Yeah, you drop one of them and it's over.
Yeah. That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. Call 205-815-9200. Apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
All right. By the way, Terry Sabin writes the foreword in the new book from Tuscaloosa News about Nick Saban's time as coach in Alabama. Terry Sabin, who... by the way, as I watched the Sabins watch the basketball game this past week, I'd glance over occasionally. Nick never really changed emotions, leg crossed, no socks, sitting there, arms crossed, watching the game. Yeah. Terry Sabin in on every basket. She's cheering big. She's like the Taylor Corn of Alabama basketball.
Did she have Bama in the over?
I don't know, but she was cheering everything that happened. Nick was
Nick.
During that. Stood up for the veteran honor and the national anthem. That's the only time I think I saw him.
So he loves America. Yeah. We know that.
When we come back, final thoughts, including one more from Bruce Pearl after the loss this weekend on TNR.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
It's that time of year again. The Legacy Swap and Drop promotion is back. It's bigger than ever. Swap your current auto loan or RV loan to Legacy and drop your interest rate and monthly payment. Don't miss out on this opportunity to save big with our friends at Legacy Credit Union. Not a member yet? That's okay. You too can save by becoming a member today. Head over to swapanddrop.com. Apply in minutes. That's swapanddrop.com or visit one of their 9 greater Birmingham area branches. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Say that quote so people know what he.
No, Anthony Rendon, who Brown saw as a Washington National.
He was a stud in the postseason for the Nationals. One of the reasons they won the World Championship.
Yeah,
he and Daniel Murphy.
And one of the reasons he got a 7-year, $245 million deal from the Angels. Well, at spring training, He goes on record and says, quote, baseball has never been a top priority for me, and I play the sport to, quote, make a living.
And as
now, to not take this out of context, he said, quote, this is a job. I do it to make a living. My family and my faith come first before this job. So if those things come before it, I'm leaving.
Yeah. So he was talking about how faith and family are more important to him than baseball is. So that's a positive comment.
That's the majority of people, right? Like Nick Saban, I think football was more important. That's how you want your coach.
His faith and family. It was not.
Yeah.
Then who?
Then his faith and family.
No, there's football coaches out there that football is their number one priority over faith and family.
Our friends at Urology Center.
So good.
It's not Sark.
Our friends at Urology Centers Alabama want to help you with your urological needs. UCA has over 35 urologists on 16 locations across Alabama treating all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones. They'll take care of you. UrologyCentersAlabama.com. UrologyCentersAlabama.com to schedule an appointment today. Bruce Pearl on the loss of Jalen Williams, what it means for his team down the stretch here in the SEC race towards tournament time. Again, not season ending. This is after the game Saturday night.
Well, I mean, Jalen Williams is Auburn's all-time winningest player ever, and by a bunch of games, right? And he's having a phenomenal, senior season. And it's not like I'm not giving the scouting report away, but when Jalen Williams has played well, we've won. And he's only really not played well in about 4 or 5 games. Those happen to be the games we've lost. The math's kind of scary. So give Jalen Williams credit, but the depth on his team and the chemistry on his team, we'll put it together. We'll get something. We'll be ready for the next one.
Again, the math he's talking about, I mentioned earlier. 10 points against Mississippi State, 6 against Florida, 7 against Bama, 6 against App State, 4 against Baylor, and 3 in 26 minutes before he's injured against Kentucky. If he doesn't get up into the double digits pretty high, the team has lost some basketball games this year.
It'll be interesting to see how long he's out. I mean, do you guys put Georgia and the somewhat losable, extremely losable,
on the road,
unlikely losable? I mean, what category though? Is I'm asking.
I'd put
How
it.
would you categorize it?
I would go. I would say 6 to 7 out of 10 Auburn wins.
I would say 38%. So that's about the same.
Okay,
6 to 7.
And the number will be Auburn.
38% Auburn loses.
4.5.
4.5.
Yeah. 4.5 is a skinny number.
Oh, it'll be a small number. It's hard to go on the road. I know Georgia's record's not there. It's a tough place to play.
Remember, Alabama
barely
had to battle back from double digits most of the game to get out with the win. It's just tough to win on the road in the SEC.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, and then
Tennessee. I mean,
Tennessee
even with Jalen Williams playing in that game, you've got your hands full.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Tennessee had nobody as an opponent this week and just mowed through Vanderbilt and Arkansas. I think were their 2 wins, 25 and 30 points this past weekend. Samford dropped one to Mercer. UAB wins over the weekend. Alabama's on top of the SEC standings, and we see it happen all the time. Coach gets fired, interim coach takes over. And that happened at Ohio State, and they go out and beat Purdue 73-69 with an interim coach. How does that happen all the time? It seems like it happens all the time.
It's just, I mean, the only way you can explain it is the players they internalize it, they rally, let's prove them wrong. They shouldn't have fired our coach. And you just want to say, if you'd have played like that all year.
Yeah, he wouldn't be fired.
Or maybe they didn't like him. They're like, let's go.
Maybe that's it.
He's gone now. Let's go play better.
But you're right. It's almost like when I saw after he got fired, Holtman got fired, that they played Purdue next. Part of me thought that's probably a pretty good play.
We gave it out plus 8.5.
I saw it.
Lance'sLock.com is where he gives out the plays. One free one every day. They'll shoot a video later on. You can go get your free play. Lance'sLock.com. Lance'sLock.com. A free play every day. Even when it's not football or basketball season. For baseball, he'll throw occasional hockey out for you. Lance'sLock.com. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Daytona 500 this afternoon. I'm going to take a flyer on Allmendinger.
AJ.
And then Denny Hamlin. Those are my 2
Put them in a parlay.
I may do that. MyBookie.ag. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.